Folks, we've reached the end of the rainbow. This is the final pre-draft episode with Drew Beatty, our NFL draft analyst that has joined us for months upon months upon months. And the only perfect way to end this is with a beautiful 7-round New York Jets mock draft where he runs the ship and we go through the whole damn thing. And then next week, for the final episode with Drew Beatty, he will grade the entire Jets draft, pick by pick, trades if they made any. It'll be a lot of fun. But first, a 7-round New York Jets mock draft. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, it's morphin' time! To me, talking New York Jets is my superpower. Boy Green Daily starts now. Wow! Boy Green Daily, Boy Daily. Boy Daily.
Let's go, baby. I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. And let's go to a comment here from Kevin Callahan of Callahan Auto Parts. All right, let's give a big shout out to Mr. Callahan, who says, happy draft week, everybody.
We're here, baby. We're here.
And we are going to have a lot of fun today. So, folks, feel free to jump around the comment section, like the video, hit subscribe, and let's keep that warm applause going for one of the best draft analysts. And I don't want to go too far. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I don't want to give too much praise. But Drew Beatty may be the greatest draft analyst of all time. So let's bring him in. Drew Beatty.
Morning, Paul. How we doing for the second to last time? We're finally here. Finally on draft week.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm telling you before the show, there's some sort of conflicting emotions here because, like finally the end, like we've been doing a lot of prep to get us to this point. But that means, geez, I've been loving these conversations on a week-to-week basis. I haven't minded turning that alarm clock a little earlier, get my fat ass up off the couch or bed or wherever the hell I'm sleeping, and get involved in jumping in here. So, Drew, this is conflicting emotions, but now you run the ship. I'm throwing you the keys. 7 rounds. You're an animal, okay? You're only and first 7-round New York Jets mock draft of the offseason. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Guess so. Born ready for this. We've been waiting all cycle. First time doing a 7-round mock. I've been doing a lot of them. I've been working a lot of the different scenarios in here. I think I finally settled on what I want to do.
Okay.
But yeah, it's bittersweet. And apologies to everybody out there if I sound absolutely terrible. I made it right here to the finish line, and we're dealing with a little bit of a Michael Jordan flu game. Right on draft week. But that won't stop us from mock drafting. Absolutely not.
Well, I just want to say massive respect because you could have easily Anthony Richardson slapped the side of your helmet and taken yourself out, but you didn't, Drew. You're a real man, and that we can only appreciate. And I will say a couple of things real quick, and then we'll get this show on the road here with a 7-round New York Jets mock draft. I will be at the draft, so we are only 3 days away. I'm going to be hanging out there with Johnny Boy in Pittsburgh. I'm going to be there driving in on Wednesday, and I'll be there through Sunday morning. So I'm staying for as long of a time as I can to try to absorb as much draft content as possible. So guys, stay tuned to the channel. I'll try to give you the best that I can. And also, I want to make sure it's perfectly clear that Drew is running the ship here, but all bribes are accepted. And Tank for Ty is taking full advantage of that with gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Yes, you can only respect this level of commitment. Tank for Ty, you've been with us throughout the entire process. That is 4 raffle tickets for you, good sir, to our contest. More on that in a little bit. But Tank for Ty, that membership went to Lexi Lima. Lexi Lima, welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Beautiful. We'll see if that influences one Drew Beatty. Perhaps. All right. With that being said, for everybody who's new, take for Ty, you're the best. Love you, buddy. For those who are new to the mock drafting system here at Drew, this will be a 7-rounder. We've never done that before. All the settings are set to 50-50, except for randomness. For obvious reasons, some weird stuff happens, and that's it. But besides that, we're doing a 7-round mock draft. Trades are allowed, so Drew, whatever trades to your heart's content can be allowed here. So let's enter the draft. Let's enter the proverbial octagon. Get your stretches in, because the draft has begun, and Fernando Mendoza off the board. Hopefully that didn't screw up all your draft plans, buddy.
Unfortunately, no, I kind of came to terms with that one a while ago, doing these drafts, as much as we'd love that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, kicking things off here at number 2. This is one of the many reasons that I'm so excited for this draft, because we've heard all cycle how all the different insiders saying how this is going to be one of the most fun for fans, just because the talent level being kind of closer together than most drafts here. There's going to be a lot of parity on Thursday.
Yeah.
And normally, we get to the second-ish week in April when we kind of have a clear picture of how the top 5, maybe even the top 10 will play out.
Mhm.
And this year, it's anybody's guess. I mean, the draft really, the only thing that's ever been certain is number 1.
Yeah.
This time last week, it had started to look like everybody in the NFL world was convinced David Bailey at 2.
Mhm.
And you asked me where I fell on that, and I doubled down on Arvell Reese, that I had been in the same camp, pretty much the entire cycle, and I doubled down on it last week. And now, a week further into this thing, it seems like the scales are tilting back towards Arvell Reese. You had
Yes.
Todd McShay come out last night and say that it is Arvell Reese at 2. So it looks like.
Can we, Drew Biddy, you're a fellow draft analyst. So if you want to, Paul, I plead the 5th. It is your amendment to do so. I didn't read you your Miranda rights, but it is your right to do so. But let's just, I just want to take the draft off real quick and just look at you. Okay. Let me make it even more intimate. Let's get even closer to each other. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So the whole time, it's Arvell Reese is the pick at 2, is what everyone's saying. My mama's saying it. My grandma's saying it. Everybody's saying it's Arvell Reese at 2. Then, somewhere over the last 2 weeks, it's David Bailey. And I heard terms like fait accompli. Like it is like a foregone conclusion that David Bailey is going to be the pick. And I wrote a piece about this yesterday. Todd McShay, Todd. He said this on April 15th. Okay, so I want to make sure we lay the timeline out perfectly. On April 15th, Todd McShay released Mock Draft 4.0 for himself. He put David Bailey at 2. And in the piece, this is a direct quote, said to the rest of the NFL, it is basically a foregone conclusion that David Bailey out of Texas Tech will be the pick at 2. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty emphatic. For a foregone conclusion? All right, here we go. 3 days later, April 18th, he tweets out, hey, I'm heading out to Vegas. I just want to throw a few things out there before my head hits the pillow. I believe Arvell Reese is going to be the pick at 2. And I'm like, my neck hurts from the whiplash. Maybe my hamstrings hurt from the back pedal. What the hell? How can you do that? How are we just allowed to just make up fairyland that on one day, 3 days before, you could say, David Bailey, obviously. 3 days later, just kidding. It's actually completely Arvell Reese. What? Who?
It is, the news cycle is always, especially in April, like we all know, it's always smoke and mirrors, right? That's what all of the 2 or 3 weeks pre-draft that news cycle becomes. But it's been especially bad this year. It is just a swirling rumor mill all the time. So the Jets pick has certainly been the most interesting discussion to me, because it's been between 2 players for over 2 months now. And it just seems like they're every time there's a consensus, the scales tip the other way. So I know McShay has switched up. I stood firm on Arvell Reese last week, and it would seem like it's tilting back that way now. But I am starting to lean the other direction now with Texas Tech's David Bailey. As I have tried to do a little bit more digging, again, I'm far from the most connected person. All I can do is put my ear to the ground and pick up some whispers from far away. But I am operating under the assumption that it will be Bailey at 2 as of right now. I could really, again, I don't feel confident either way on this. I think it could go really either way. Because it seems like the NFL world is very convinced behind David Bailey at 2, but the local Jets media and a lot of the more connected insiders like, McShay and whoever now are switching back to Reese. But the New York beat, specifically, the guys close to the building, have stayed firm on Arvo Reese throughout the entire process, which is what gives me the most pause with saying this. But I think that I've heard it one too many times to not flip and go David Bailey at 2 camp. So I have to eat my crow from last week. I stood on it last week. I was confident as of last Monday. I am a lot less confident of that as of this Monday. So as of right now, if probably 7 or it starts at 8 Eastern. So
8 Eastern,
20 something Eastern by the time this pick rolls around. I think you're going to see Texas Tech pop up across that screen on Thursday. So we're going to go ahead and lock in David Bailey at 2.
All right, there you go. For audio-only listeners, I'll make sure I repeat every pick, whatever it is official. And so at the number 2 overall pick of the 7-round mock draft for Drew Beatty, he's selecting Texas Tech pass rusher David Bailey with the number 2 overall pick. So there you have it. He is the selection for the New York Jets. We jump over to 16, and before we get there, I do see that we have a super chat shout-out, which I want to give a quick shout-out to James Eubanks, by the way, member for 5 months. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Wow. We'll see if this is right. Todd McShay and Daniel Jeremiah, 2 very plugged-in insiders, have both predicted over the last 2 weeks that the Jets could move up from 16 back into the top 10 to go get a receiver, and they both predicted it would be for Carnell Tate at pick 7 against Washington. Obviously, that won't happen in this particular scenario, but interesting. James Eubanks says, I think Michelle got the Jets trade information, so maybe that part will be right. We will see on draft day. I will tell you, I'll be there in person, so if I get that, I'm going to lose my bleep because it could be for a variety of positions, which I'll be interested in. All right. I will read to you. This will be the only time that I do this. I'll read to you the picks that happened in between the Jets pick at 2 overall and where they're now picking at 16th overall. So let's go through each piece of the puzzle. The Arizona Cardinals took Arvell Reese, the linebacker out of Ohio State. Jeremiah Love went to your Tennessee Titans. Drew Beatty, the running back out of Notre Dame. Sonny Styles, a linebacker out of Ohio State, went 5th overall to the New York Giants. Reuben Bain Jr., the pass rusher out of Miami, went to the Cleveland Browns, 6th overall. Francis Mauigoa, the offensive lineman out of Miami, went 7th overall to the Washington Commanders. Carnell Tate, the Ohio State wide receiver, went 8th overall to the New Orleans Saints. Caleb Downs, the Ohio State defensive back, went 9th overall to the Kansas City Chiefs. And 10th overall, we haven't talked about this yet. Maybe this will impact it in some way. The New York Giants are back on the clock after trading Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals straight up for the 10th overall pick. And with that extra selection, the Giants have selected LSU corner Mansour Delane off the board. Miami Dolphins, Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon. Spencer Fano, offensive lineman, Utah to the Dallas Cowboys. Monroe Freeling, offensive lineman, Georgia. Monroe Freeling, Georgia offensive lineman to the Los Angeles Rams. Mekhi Lemon, USC wide receiver to the Baltimore Ravens. And then finally, Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon tight end to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which takes us on the clock at 16, Drew Beatty.
There we go. And one thing to quickly dip back on too, obviously, I have been vocally not the biggest fan of David Bailey throughout this draft.
Very much so. Process. Yes. Yeah.
And I can see the group of pitchforks and torches forming in the chat on me right now. First of all, for all of our sakes, I hope that it is Arvell Reese at 2, because I believe he'll be the far better player in the NFL. And also, I don't want to come on here next Monday and have to talk negatively about the guy you took 2nd overall. So for all of our sakes, I hope it is Arvell Reese. But like I said, I've just heard the David Bailey thing one too many times from people that I trust personally. And but like I said, I don't necessarily feel confident either way. If you had to, I would not put my life savings on either pick at 2. Okay. So, and again, this one is going to be predictive. This is not what I would do. I'm trying to be with the draft this week.
This mock draft.
What I think correct. The Jets will do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that the David Bailey is the more likely pick. But again, for all of our sakes, I hope that I'm wrong.
Okay.
And now we move on to 16. There is kind of the handful of players, excuse me, that we always see right here. Mm-hmm. Like I've mocked Vega Wane here a lot. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Dylan Parham signing makes that a lot less likely. Mm-hmm. We talked about Gerard McCoy here last week, and we've seen Jordan Tyson here a lot. Those 2 players are really, really interesting to me.
Yes.
Because again, another thing that I stood on last week is that I thought Jordan Tyson was going to have a pretty severe fall on draft night. And that I was going to I predicted him to go more likely in the late 20s or even in the 30s than I would in the top half of the first round. I'm going to have to walk back on that one too. I think that it's probably more likely than not that we see him in the top half of the first round again. Than we do where I thought. So that's the thing. This draft, and I know I'm contributing to the exact rumor mill that we all just complained about. And I fully acknowledge that and take accountability for that because I'm not trying to be the guy that just peddles rumors. I try not to do that.
Sure.
But when I hear enough things to believe what I said last week is wrong, I'm going to come on here and atone for it. So yeah, I think that those guys actually have to be flipped. I think Tyson's going to go up there, and I think we see kind of an avalanche type slide for Jermon McCoy because teams are a lot more worried about that knee than a lot of people think. And he's a top 10 player in this class talent wise to me. But if teams don't think that knee is cleaned up and if the swelling isn't all the way gone, I think you could see him slide it all the way into the 20s at this point.
Good Lord. Wow.
And we talked about he was on my boomer bust list last week. I've said this with Jordan Tyson a handful of times at this pick, and why I don't think he's a likely player at this pick. I don't want to totally rule him out because the talent is obvious. He's been a lot of people's wide receiver one throughout this entire process. But the Jets need to be risk averse in this draft to me. They are a team that is in a volatile part of the rebuilding life cycle.
Okay.
You need players that are just going to contribute. Everybody wants to fund high upside swing. I understand that. And of course, you have a lot of picks next year where you can continue to build. But I think you need a foundation for whenever you make that big swing on a quarterback.
Okay.
Being next year. So I think the Jets need to go on the safer side with a lot of these players. So I would expect them to avoid probably some of the more, players that carry a higher risk factor. But I think we are going to address receiver here at the 16th overall pick.
Okay. Let's hop on over to wide receiver. All right. Okay.
With, Jordan Tyson not being somebody that I think, again, not totally ruling it out, but I would expect them to chase some other options here on the board.
Really? Okay.
I'm going to lock in Indiana receiver Omar Cooper Jr. here at 16. I know that it is earlier than a lot of times that he goes. I think he's a player that the NFL is a lot higher on than is being currently reflected right now publicly. And again, I see Tank for Ty in there. I as much I would love to mock Ty Simpson here for one of the Jets picks. I haven't done it all cycle, and I would love to. And I've talked about it every time.
Now's your last chance, Drew. I mean, this is it.
It's my last chance to lock it in. And I love Ty Simpson so much as a player, right?
Yeah.
But it's just what I talked about, where he carries that kind of insurmountable injury risk for me, for a team where the Jets are. And I think if he's there at 33, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I fully expect somebody to come back up into the first round for him. Probably Arizona, if I had to guess on it right now. But again, as much as I'd love Ty Simpson as a player, and I'd love to mock him here, I just don't know if I can totally do it. But Omar Cooper Jr., it's a player that's been linked to the Jets a lot through this process. I think I like him. I think 16 is probably a little rich for me. But again, I just think he is one of the higher floors of this receiver class. And he's just going to be like a solid power slot for you for a long time. Really, really electric with the ball in his hands. And I think the Jets would much like this pick to be more at 33 than they would at 16.
Sure. Yeah.
But the reality is that there's going to be a run on receivers in this class. And you've got to get somebody opposite of Garrett Wilson to, if you can plug in an Omar Cooper Jr. as your slot with Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell on your boundary, you've got a really, really solid high floor receiving core set up for whatever quarterback you hopefully bring in next year to be your guy. So, and again, generally I agree with most people in the chat right now. I don't love Omar Cooper here. But again, I think he's going to go a lot higher than we think in this draft. And the NFL, he's somebody that the NFL likes a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Omar Cooper Jr.
Yeah, I will officially put that through in a second. I would just say this. I think this is going to be an interesting debate in that Jets draft room. Is this. So you're not taking a receiver at 2. You've been very clear about that. You don't believe a receiver is worth taking at 2, and I'd be very surprised if that was the direction they went. So then the next possible pick for the Jets is 16. There's a chance that a lot of receivers go between picks 3 and 15 before the Jets get on the clock. So if you're the Jets and you love one of them, do you trade back into the top 10 to go get your guy? Do you sit back and say, someone's going to be there at 16? Or do you say, let's say Tyson's off the board at this point, because I've heard a lot of Giants buzz. So let's say he's off the board. He's not even available to be picked here. And then you're picking from the crop of Cooper, Boston, Concepcion, and that's sort of the pocket. Do you say to yourself, all right, we could force wide receiver 4 here, if that's the number that still exists on the board, or we go another position, and let's just hope someone of this range is available at 33. That's risky business, man, because maybe no one, and then it's just going to get worse from here. Like, okay, I could have had wide receiver 4 at 16, but now I'm having wide receiver 8 at 33. Like, so I think you explaining yourself very well here, and especially the risk. There is a lot of risk with Jordan Tyson, so I don't know if it's just the slam dunk, if it's him versus him, or do they go a different position? But nonetheless, let's hit it. Overall pick in the first round in Drew Brady's 7-round mock draft, the New York Jets select Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr., which will jump us to the second round, the first pick of day 2 here for the New York Jets. And Drew Beatty, you are once again on the clock, my friend.
Yep, and here at 33, I'm gonna tap back into a mock draft we did a couple of weeks ago now. Okay. At this point, where we were exercising some trade options.
Mm-hmm.
And I would still, I know a lot of people are predicting trade ups for the Jets right now.
Sure.
And again, I'm not ruling that up. I wouldn't, if they're a team that wants to go up and chase one of those higher caliber receivers at the back end of the top 10, I could definitely see it. I'm not sure that I totally feel comfortable predicting that right now.
Okay.
But I definitely wouldn't rule it out. I don't think it's an impossibility. In this situation, I think I'm going to have the Jets looking to move back more than they are looking to move.
So tank for Ty. Sorry again, pal.
Right. And again, in this reality, if Ty Simpson is here at 33, which again, I don't think he will be.
Okay.
That is a pick.
Yeah, because you want this to be predictive. Yes.
Right. I'm pulling that trigger every time. But I think there are too many quarterback hungry teams for someone not to go up and get him in the back end of the first round. So I'll be stunned if he's here at 33.
Yeah.
But if he is, I'm all over it.
Okay.
But here, like I said, I think we're going to be in the trade back market a little bit.
Who do you want to target?
I more have a range. Like I said, I don't want to focus on the specific team here. I'm going to pick the Buccaneers just for the sake of the exercise. But again, I'm probably just going more of a range here. I think you're looking probably in the late 40s, somewhere in the mid to late 40s, or you can trade back and pick up an extra third. So we're gonna just look straight up 46 and 77 for 33.
Okay. It looks like it has a 65% chance of being accepted. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I don't know whether PFF's going to let it go through or not. Either way, I think this would go through. Being somewhat realistic. I mean, you're moving up, 11 spots or no,
13 spots.
Yeah. Math was not a strong suit of mine, clearly.
That's right.
But moving up 13 spots, getting up to 33, again, first pick of day 2, you pay a little bit of a premium for that.
Of course.
So pick up a third-round pick. The Jets don't have that. That would really, allows you to address another position meaningfully and pick up a day 2 player that can probably be a contributor in the rookie year. So again, I think the Jets would love to pick up an extra day 2 pick here. And if there's nobody that you just can't pass up on at 33, then I think they're fully going to be in the trade back market here.
All right, let's see if it goes through. PFF. Boop. Trade not accepted. Okay, so there was a 65% chance. So apparently Lady Luck isn't on your side either. Would you like to just pick another team in that range? Like there's Baltimore at 45 or Falcons at 48, or if you want to move a little higher?
Yeah, well, let's see what the Falcons got, because they're a team that again, I think would be more in the market of trading up. They're a team that has, no first round pick, obviously. So if there's somebody that they really, really like.
Yeah, this is an 87% chance. It would be their second and third rounder. 87% chance of being accepted. Fire through?
Shoot it.
Okay, let's go. For a trade. And that has been accepted. So, Ken, people in the back, you know what to do. Hit it. It is official in this Drew Beatty 7-round mock draft. There has been a trade at the first pick of the second round. First pick of day 2. The Falcons received the 33rd overall pick. The Jets received the 48th overall pick and the 79th overall pick. That is a second and third rounder, respectively, in the middle of this. Go ahead and resume the draft, Drew.
There we go. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
All right, here we go. By the way, who did the Falcons move up for? Caleb Banks. Interesting. I love that. Okay, so Caleb Banks ends up being the guy. And let me just take a quick peek ski. And Ty Simpson, your Arizona rumor was true. Went 34th overall to Arizona Cardinals. So take for Ty. If I had Scottish bagpipes, I'd be playing them for you right now at this point. I'm so sorry. And, we'll see what happens on draft day, buddy. All right, you've traded back successfully. So this is the 44th overall pick, your original second-round pick that you stole from the Dallas Cowboys previously on the Quentin Williams trade. So now which direction do you want to go positionally?
So, yeah, here I've talked a lot about how on day 2 it gets hard to draft for the Jets, which is a good thing because they've done a great job in free agency about plugging holes. And you look at the roster, and I don't think there's anything, again, other than maybe a number 1 edge rusher and a second receiver, which we've obviously already addressed. I don't think there's anything that like water is rushing into the ship on, right? Like there's no holes that you're just desperately trying to plug. I think you certainly need to add probably a corner, safety, and linebacker. Those are the 3 that I'm looking for on day 3. Sure. That I think if there's a player that just you can't pass up on, I think those are the players that or the positions you're looking to add.
Mm-hmm.
And here at 44, the corner room is already looking good, but this is a really, really valuable corner class. And I think if you have the option to add a player, like I know you got AJ Halsey sitting on the board, you have Jacob Rodriguez, who I know is a fan favorite, all sitting on the board.
Yeah. But
there is the guy at the top of the board there from Indiana, D'Angelo Pons, is the one that I'm looking at here. And he's got, I know the corner room is somewhat stable right now, right? You have Nahshon Wright from free agency. You have Azareye'h Thomas from last year, who I was high on at the time.
Brandon Stevens. We stole Jarvis Brownlee from you from Tennessee. I just to add on to whatever you're going to say, just to provide that Jets perspective here, is yes, I think there is a world if the Jets said, screw the cornerback position. We hate corners. We're just going to ride with the current group they have. It is possible that they could start, if there's a football game tomorrow, they could line up and put a starting bunch of corners out there and go. But if you look slightly beyond the surface, Brandon Stevens only has 1 more year of guaranteed money that is coming up this season as we're about to do it for Brandon Stevens. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. only has 2 years total of team control, and he had some of those penalty issues that he had in Tennessee. What happens there? The other corner spot is Nahshon Wright, who's on a 1-year deal, who I'm very intrigued by. I like Nahshon Wright a lot, but it's only a 1-year deal. And you have Azareye'h Thomas, who you loved last year, and I hope we get another Drew Beatty special where you just love a draft pick that the Jets got. I hope that happens. He started his rookie career injured, and he ended it injured. There was some interesting stuff in between. So long story short, yeah, I think corner is a much bigger need than people say. I think, to your point, I don't know I'm not a doctor. I just start that off the top. But if Jermon McCoy's knee checks out and he's here at 16 and the board breaks the right way, I could see the Jets going, you know what? And it's going to surprise everyone else. It'll surprise me in the moment, but I think that's possible that they could go corner if someone crazy slips. So that's a long wind up just to say I think corner is totally in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, the Nahshon Wright being on a 1-year deal, Brandon Stevens, obviously, still on a kind of prove it free agent deal. He's on a bigger deal, but I'd like to see more consistent starting caliber play from him before you really lock him in as like a for sure. And obviously he's going to start, but not a guy that I feel great about being one of your starting boundary corners. You have 3 guys that I think are solid at boundary corners, but nobody that I think you feel super like, plug them there and forget about them. And I know a lot of people see D'Angelo Pons as a nickel because he's 5'8".
Right.
And for a lot of people, size limitations make them nickels. That's something that I've really changed on this draft cycle. Or in the modern NFL, you're seeing more of like the whole Nick Emmanwori role buzzword that's popping around after the Seahawks success last season. A lot of these guys want these bigger safety types in the nickel role because your apex defenders in the modern NFL are going to be one of your primary run defenders, right? You need those guys to be able to come in and handle the tight end that's blocking in line, or even tackle. Those guys are part of the first line of defense as run defenders. So to me, when I see a 5'8" corner, I don't really see them as nickels because I don't think size limitations automatically make you unable to play on the boundary. And I think that Pons is just way too good of a cover corner to slide him into the nickel for being short. So I see Pons as a boundary corner. I have a lot of faith in Jarvis Brownlee. Obviously, I watched him pretty extensively during his time.
Sure, of course.
I think he's a plus starter as a nickel corner. I think the guy that you can rely on for at least the next couple of years on the cheap deal. So I'm drafting Pons to be a contributor in this boundary corner room, and he is. I know the size limitations are tough, but there's no part of this guy's profile that I don't feel great about outside of his size. Like the size is a problem, no doubt. Yeah. You wish he was not 5'8", but I mean, this guy is an elite athlete. He's twitchy. He is some of the best mirror, if not the best mirror in man coverage, probably outside of Jermon McCoy of anybody in this class. I think he's a guy that's really, really smart in zone. He's got a bulletproof profile outside of the fact that he's 5'8". So I know that that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. I understand, for the people that don't like D'Angelo Pons for that reason. But at a certain point, I can only rule out so much for that height. So I'm going to lock in D'Angelo Pons from Indiana here. And I think he is another guy that's going to go higher than people think. I'd be surprised to see him fall out of the top 50 come Friday.
All right, Drew, let me just, we need to be honest with each other. I think that's very important in our relationship. I feel like I'm at the hospital and you're visiting me at the hospital and you said, hey, buddy, yeah, I know we couldn't get you Fernando Mendoza, but here's Omar Cooper Jr. and D'Angelo Pons. Like, here's your Indiana consolation prize. Is that at all the thinking here? You couldn't get us Mendoza for Christmas, so
I'm just throwing as many Hoosiers as we can. We're gonna recreate Mendoza in the aggregate, right? Just get as many Hoosiers as you can post Mendoza.
Well, thank you for shopping in the same aisle. That's beautiful. I appreciate the commitment to the bid. So let's make it official. 34th overall pick in the 7th-round New York Jets mock draft. Drew Beatty selects D'Angelo Pons, Indiana cornerback for the Jets at 44 overall. We don't have to wait long, of course, because the Jets are immediately back on the clock at 48, thanks to the Falcons trade back scenario. Here are the players we missed out on over the last 3 picks. Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker at Texas Tech, goes to the Baltimore Ravens. R. Mason Thomas, the edge rusher out of Oklahoma, goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then Jeremy Bernard to the Indianapolis Colts. That has us back on the clock at 48.
Yep. And again, another thing I want to talk about with Chris Johnson sitting there at the top of the board. When you're taking corner, if Chris Johnson is there, in the 40s, they probably pull that trigger rather than Pons. But Chris Johnson is a player that I'm increasingly questioning if he'll be there on day 2. I think he's a guy that ends up in the back end of the first round. I don't know. I've said it for a handful of guys already, but that's a guy that the NFL is way, way higher on than most people.
Peter Schrager, even just to jump in, he says he's heard from some sources that Chris Johnson could be the 3rd corner off the board in the first round. Like he could go after, obviously, Mansour, Delane, and Jermon McCoy, depending on the knee situation. So, yeah, there's a lot of buzz. And again, I want to keep reiterating what you said at the beginning because we're going to have people coming in and joining us in the middle of this. We have 200 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe. You want to be realistic. If PFF somehow had Fernando Mendoza here, you wouldn't want to take him because then, after, people would be looking at this draft like, what the? Huh? Oh, what? Unrealistic, stupid. So, that's just a part of your process that you've mentioned here. So,
right. And again, like I said, 3rd corner off the board, I think would be totally realistic for Chris Johnson right now.
Okay.
He's just a football guy in the head, and the NFL loves him. There's a lot to like physically about the profile too. So, guys like that don't typically fall out of the first. So, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him in that late 20s, 30, somewhere around there. So here at 48, I think you're looking at safety and linebacker, right? I know we just lost out on Jacob Rodriguez. Yeah. Everybody in the comments is really upset about that. I know we all love
they hate your guts. Yeah. Yep.
Here, I know AJ Halsey's on the board. I've kind of soured on Halsey the more we've gotten through this process. There's a lot I like about the profile still, but I think he's just a little bit more limited athletically than I'd like, and just a little bit technically unsound in some places. There again, still a lot to like about his profile. I think he's a 2nd-round player. But I think the depth of the safety class, I like kind of kicking the can down the road for safety a lot more than I do linebacker. Okay. So looking at the linebacker board here, I mean, you've got Kyle Lewis, Josiah Trotter, and Jake Golday, 3 options that I love on day 2. But I think Jake Golday is kind of emerging as the pretty clear favorite out of this group to at least to go earlier. Another guy that I could comfortably go in the top 50. Linebacker Cincinnati. He's one of the few guys, as good as this linebacker class is, right? I have a lot of high grades in this. It's a class that I generally think is one of the better groups in this draft. But a lot of them fall kind of into one of two categories, right? They're either like pure run defenders or they're pure coverage guys. There's not a lot of people that can do both. They're all kind of specialists. Jake Goldie is one of the few linebackers in this class that can really, really do both. He's really well balanced. He played a lot of like big nickel for Cincinnati, actually. Kind of played out of position a lot. But I think he's a guy you get in a more traditional linebacker role at the next level. He's somebody that's really well rounded. And again, I know you've got Demario Davis and Jamien Sherwood to plug in as your two starters. Sherwood was, questionable at best last year, and then Demario Davis is nearing like the end. I know he just signed a 2-year contract, but this is more about drafting somebody that you can kind of stash. Goldie will play for sure. Like he's going to find a spot on the field during his rookie year, maybe not over a guy like Sherwood or Davis right away, but that's somebody that I think you can plug in as a starter once you move on from one of those two guys over the next year or 2 years, whatever it ends up being. Jake Goldie is one of the most well-rounded in this, and he firmly deserves to go in the top 50 in this class, in my opinion. So we'll plug in Jake Goldie for this pick, and I think he's your starter at linebacker and your plan for the future.
Linebacker makes a lot of sense. The Jets did bring Demario Davis in, one of my favorite players. I'm glad we brought him back. I've lamented that they let him go twice earlier in his career. So to bring him back is very important to me. I love Demario. That'll be definitely a jersey I add to the collection in the future for sure. But there is Demario Davis, who's going to be your green dot. And then there's Jamien Sherwood, who'll be more comfortable in a side linebacker position role, Sam or Will. And then you're bringing in your new linebacker in the draft, hopefully. So I think this makes a lot of sense. So hit those times, baby. 28th overall pick, which the Jets acquired in a trade down scenario here with the Atlanta Falcons, a second round draft choice. They select Cincinnati linebacker Jake Goldie. He is the selection here for the New York Jets, which will jump us to the 3rd round, where we didn't have a 3rd round pick initially. Thank you, Hassan Reddick, you bastard. But we're now back into the 3rd round thanks to some magic here from Drew Beatty. So we're on the clock at 79th overall, originally the Atlanta Falcons pick. All right, what position are you looking at here, Drew?
So here I think you probably see safety at this point. I think you've plugged most of the pressing holes so far. And safety, I wouldn't call it a hole, especially after the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. I think he's a guy that that can be will be your starter this year in that kind of single high center fielder role. And obviously you got like Dane Belton and some other guys to play more of that. The traditional box safety role was kind of scarce in today's NFL, but to play that bigger safety. Yeah. But again, you got to start planning for the future in a lot of these positions, and I think safety is just like linebacker, where you have kind of a stopgap option for the next year or two, but you need a younger guy that can start to take over there. Okay. And looking at the safety board here, I'm not a Kamari Ramsey fan. He played a lot of nickel for USC this year. I know that was kind of out of position, and people like the 2024 tape better than this most recent year. I just don't necessarily see enough traits with Ramsey to take him on day 2. I think he's much more of a day 3 guy to me. I love Genesis Smith. He's a guy that can play really any position in the secondary for you. I think he's got the range, the coverage, not a good tackler. That's kind of the biggest knock on him, is he's one of the worst tacklers in this class. But again, I love his tape and coverage. And then you got Zakee Wheatley, who is more of that just traditional box safety, right? That role really exists, but more as a player profile thing. He's a guy that is just going to be super sound in run defense. I don't love his tape and coverage as much as some of the other guys here. But again, he's a really sound run defender. Bud Clark from TCU is the one guy that pops out of this group to me if I'm going to take a safety. And again, I want to look at interior offensive line too, because I know center is still a position that's kind of got some uncertainty there. But again, out of this group, Bud Clark's kind of the guy that jumps out to me, right? I know we've talked last year about your Notre Dame safety, Xavier Watts, right? That was a guy that got mocked at the Jets. A lot of free draft connections with him. Oh, my God.
That breaks my heart.
And he was really in that kind of ball hawk role, like that guy you put center fielder. What Minkah Fitzpatrick's going to be playing, but guy you put in center fielder and just has the instincts, right? Always around the ball.
He had like 4 picks as a rookie for the Falcons, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah.
And Bud Clark is certainly the guy that's in that kind of cookie cutter this year, right? Bud Clark is the guy that is just always around the ball. He's got a sixth sense for where it's always going. There's a ton of ball production. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. A lot of interceptions, a lot of PBUs. Bud Clark is a guy that I like the most for New York out of this safety group. Okay. But I want to take a quick peek at the interior offensive line group.
Yeah, because we do have this super chat coming through from Max. So let's highlight this from Max.
Wow.
Mahar Khalil, $2 super chat. Third round should be offensive line. And I think the two positions fans would be screaming for is interior offensive line in general, but specifically potentially some depth / competition at guard or center. One of the two would probably be where Jet fans are leaning towards potentially here. So let's throw that up here as a potential conversation here on the interior offensive line. So appreciate that. If you guys ever have super chats during this draft and you want to influence or create conversation, feel free to do so. So we have a big pocket of these centers: Connor Lew at Auburn, Sam Hecht at Kansas State. Then we get back into the guard territory, Jalen Farmer, and then a bunch of centers in here: Jake Slaughter, Logan Jones. And then we get back into the guard market. So a bunch of names here. Does anything jump out to you, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of centers in this class that I like. The third round is really like kind of the golden spot for Nichols, or not Nichols. Still got that on my mind from the safety talk.
Yeah.
Centers, because there is. I don't love the top end of this center class, but late day 3 or late day 2, is where really where a lot of the guys start flying off the board. I think that's where you see the run start with them. Like Sam Hecht, again, I'd be a little surprised if he's here at 79. I think he has a lot of teams center 1. He'll be one of the first we see go off the board. He's my personal center 1. I love him, or center 2 behind Parker Brailsford, but I know I'm way higher than Brailsford on consensus. So Sam Hecht, again, I'm probably not going to take him here just because I don't think he'll be here. I think he's a guy that goes much closer to early third round, potentially even late second, than he is here in the middle of the third round. Connor Lew is another guy that I think probably has a more realistic chance to be here. A lot of people center 1 going into the year, and he had a lot of, he had the ACL tear that then bumped him down for a lot of people. I'm not quite, that high on him, but he's somebody that I'm seriously considering here for the Jets, because you're looking at, again, Myers. Can he be a starter? Yes, but it's much like the corner discussion from earlier. Can he be your starter at center? Yes, but you don't feel really 100% great about it. And then Logan Jones, I'm a big fan of too. Jake Slaughter. But those guys are probably more early day 3 to me. Logan Jones I have in this range, but I think he'd be more likely to go there, right? Because we're being predictive and not what I would do. So this pick is between Connor Lew and Bud Clark to me. Safeties from earlier. So I'll go ahead and I'll plug in Connor Lew here, because I think very, very deep at both center and safety. But I think you're probably going to have a more diverse board at safety on early day 3 than you are at center. Like I said, because I think there's going to be a run on late day 2 with centers. So we'll plug in center here.
There you go. See, Mac, you could have some influence with your guys' super chats out in the audience. So feel free to take advantage. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that little money sign. It's there in the comment section. And you guys could super chat in questions, comments, or anything here for Drew in the middle of this very live 7-round mock draft. We have 300 people in the room, including over 100 of those 300 watching on YouTube. Folks, please like the video. That is the free way to contribute here to the program. But let's hit those chimes because it is official. With the 79th overall pick in the third round that Drew Beatty acquired at a trade down with the Atlanta Falcons, he selects Auburn center Connor Lew. Connor Lew is the pick here at 79, which will take us to the fourth round here for the Jets, where they have a pair of selections. They have 103 and 140. 103 is the third pick of the fourth round, and then 140 is the final selection in the fourth round, a compensatory selection. All right, Drew. I see your brother, other Drew, is the best player on the board right now, Drew Aller. Wow. Okay, there you go.
Right, and this is probably where the quarterback conversation begins. And I know I got to speed up a little bit through day 3 because I've dragged a little bit. But quarterback, I think we see the Jets take one on day 3 this year.
Okay, all right.
But I'd be really surprised if it is at 103. And I know like Drew Aller and Carson Beck, a couple of the guys that the Jets have been tied to, have been popular picks for them.
Yep.
If you want them, you're probably going to have to take them here at 103. I don't even know if Aller will be here. But I I don't see them chasing quarterback this early, right? I mean, there
Fair
are too
enough.
many valuable players available on the board at 103 to chase
Okay.
a backup quarterback or developmental quarterback option, a dart throw. I think we see them add one more on late day 3
Okay.
here. So let's look at the safety board because I think you really need to add a
Safety.
player
Okay.
as a young player. And Bud Clark, the guy from TCU that I just talked about being there,
Yeah.
potentially being the pick at 79 is still there. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Bud Clark. I think he's a guy
Okay.
that brings a really rangy coverage presence in corner. He's really versatile in the secondary. And just has the ball production that you need. He's got the instincts you can't teach at safety. He'd be a great fit in secondary, I think.
All right, let's hit it. With the 103rd overall pick in the 4th round, the New York Jets select TCU safety Bud Clark. It's going to take us to the next pick in the 4th round, which I mentioned before is the final pick of the 4th round. It is pick 140 overall. All right, Drew, what position? It looks like to your point, a lot of those quarterbacks went, and they did. Both Carson Beck and Drew Aller went in the 4th round here. So, okay, so those are off the board. What position?
Yeah, here, one thing I want to look at is tight end. Because I think,
okay.
Obviously you've got Mason Taylor, you've got Jeremy Ruckert, two guys that I think are solid starting options. But one guy, Jelani Woods is your 3, but you really you need like a true blocking tight end. Every roster needs kind of like that designated blocking tight end, right? That's something that really opens up your offense to me. And even if it's not necessarily like a pressing need, this tight end class on day 3 is so deep and so good to me that almost every team should be leaving mid day 3 with a tight end. Because when you look at this board and you've got Dallin Bentley from Utah, Nate Borkirker from Texas A&M, Eli Raridon from Notre Dame, all awesome options to me. And those are, I just love the day 3 tight end class, right? I mean, there's so many options in this. Every team should be looking to add one. And the guy that's really popping to me, again, I don't know if he'll be here. The medical history, he has 2 ACL tears on the same knee, so that may make it more likely. But Notre Dame's Eli Raridon, a guy that I know you're familiar with.
Quite.
One of my personal favorites from this tight end class. It's probably the guy I'm looking at here at 140. He is okay. I know the medical history is concerning, but like you're at 140, right? You're at the end of the 4th round. I think you can take that risk on a guy like him. He is 6'6" or 6'7". Big time player, big frame. I think he's a really impressive separator for his size, and also just dominant inline blocker. And that's really what I'm looking for here on midday 3 is getting a blocker in the room, a guy that can totally carve out a role in the tight end room just by being a dominant inline blocker. You can put in 13 personnel. So like I said, there's a lot of good options on the board here. Raridon's probably my favorite. I think he's a guy that you can plug in as your tight end 3. With potential to climb, if he can stay healthy, climb into maybe an even bigger role.
There you go. Hit it. Notre Dame is tight end you, baby. So many. I would do a trivia game if I had more time of going through all the guys I can remember off the top of my head. But pick 140, final pick of the 4th round. Eli Raridon, the Notre Dame tight end, is the selection for the New York Jets. That takes us to the 5th round. We jump along here. Jets have 1 5th round draft selection here. It is a compensatory selection. It is the 3rd to last 5th round draft choice. The Jets do have a 6th round choice, so we have 2 7th rounders after this. All right, 179. Drew, where are we going?
Yeah, here, this is really where the board kind of opens up. I don't know that there is necessarily anywhere that like you have to go now. I think a lot of the things that you feel cornered into doing have already been covered.
All right.
I know I've talked about quarterback. I'm probably going to wait until the next pick to add a guy for that. So I'm going to take a look at the interior defensive line board because again, that's another group where I think it's really deep. And obviously the Jets are stacked there, right? I love what the Jets have done with their defensive line additions. I think they've got a really impressive room. I think you could still stand to add one of these kind of penetrative 3-tech type guys, kind of a rotational pass rush specialist that has a chance to climb into the rotation and make the roster. Skylar Gill-Howard from Texas Tech is the guy that I'm looking at here to fit that role, like 290 pounds, another guy that's got that juice as a 3-tech that can penetrate and push pocket a little bit. Zane Durant, too, is another guy that, like, come this time last year, I would have said he was probably a day 2 pick. I didn't love the tape this year. But Skylar Gill-Howard is the guy that pops to me from this group. And I think he's a role that you could stand to add into that defensive line rotation. So I'll go ahead and add Skylar Gill-Howard here. We're just going to compile a defense full of Indiana Hoosiers and Texas Tech.
There you go. That's a good combo platter. With the 179th overall pick in the 5th round, the New York Jets select Skylar Gill-Howard, the interior defensive lineman from Texas Tech. Lock that in. The Jets do not have a 6th-round draft choice, so this is going to skip all the way down to the 7th round, where the Jets have a pair of 7th-round selections. We'll start off with 228 overall. Drew, you said you want to go quarterback here?
This is probably where I'm going to pull the trigger on quarterback, right?
All right, here we go. This is your talk of the guys.
Yeah, you see Taylor Green and Cole Payton both there.
Yep.
They're kind of like the traditional traits guys that are like the upside projects. Neither one of them is going to be anywhere close to the 7th round, so I'm going to pretend like they're not even here.
Fair
Obviously,
enough.
those would be awesome dart throws in the 7th round, but they're both going to go way earlier than that.
Okay.
So the one guy, as somebody brought up last week, Illinois' Luke Altmaier is a guy that I think should be a premier backup option for somebody that's drafting for a backup. Like, I think the Jets should be, right? Because the backup's still a big question behind Geno Smith.
Of course.
Altmaier, he's a guy that probably doesn't have the physical tools to be a consistent starting quarterback in the NFL. That's not why you're drafting him here in the 7th round, right? But there's a lot of stuff mentally that I like with Altmaier. I think he's a smart quarterback and somebody that I think has a real chance to stick around as a potential swing backup guy in the league for a while. So out of this quarterback board, I like Altmaier. I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on him on late day 3 here.
Okay, here you go. With the 228th overall pick of the 7th round, the New York Jets select Illinois quarterback Luke Altmaier here. The Jets have one more selection, their other 7th round draft choice. We are picking at 242 overall, and then that'll wrap up the draft. Drew, who's your Mr. Irrelevant?
Here, I think he should be on near the top of the board. I think he's listed as a linebacker here. Okay. From USC, Eric Gentry is the guy that I'm looking at. I don't think he's the other area top of the board. I don't think he's going to play linebacker. He's a guy that looks much more like a basketball player, right? He's like 6'7", really long arms.
Wow.
I don't know that he's ever going to be able to carve out a role full-time on an NFL defense. Probably if he does, it's as a safety or in that big nickel role. He's not really big enough to play linebacker or strong enough to me. But again, on late day 3 here, you're looking for guys that can contribute on special teams. And I think Eric Gentry is one of the best special teamers in this draft to me. So he's got the size. Maybe if you can put some mass on his frame, he can contribute as a rotational nickel, maybe safety type in the future.
You said if he could put some what on his frame?
Put some mass.
Oh, mass. So they said ass on his frame. It was like, oh, I see. Oh, okay. No, mass. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, that too, right? That's probably
all right. Yeah. Okay.
But we'll add Gentry here more as a special teamer than anything. Yeah. But I think he's a guy that has the physical tools to potentially grow into something bigger on the defense.
All right. There you go. With the final pick of this New York Jets 7-round mock draft, Drew Beatty with the 242nd overall pick in the 7th round selects USC's Eric Gentry, will be a key special teamer for the New York Jets that is tabulating behind the scenes. I'll pull that up here in just a second, Drew, as we're wrapping this up here. Again, this will be your final pre-draft show that we do together, and a week from today, we'll do a final grading where you'll go through each pick, give us your raw and honest thoughts, and then grade the overall draft as well as you're going through this process. That should be an absolute hoot, Drew. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see what they do. It was a fun show last year. Always want to look forward to the most. It's a nice way to just send off draft season. So I'm obviously super excited for the draft, but yeah, I'm ready for that next week.
All right, Drew, I know we're running out of time here, so I will throw this up real quick, and we'll see how much of it will actually pop up on the screen here. But we have your entire collection of picks, and I'll recap them piece by piece after you get off air. But let's throw this up on the board here, and I'll take it off. You've got a B from the PFF Overlords. Just seeing your overall mock draft. Any thoughts you want to share about it?
Yeah. I think you add your premier edge. Obviously, the Jets think so. I'm a little bit lower on David Bailey, but you add an edge to be that number one guy in your rotation at 2nd overall. Add a starting slot receiver in Omar Cooper. To me, I think he can play anywhere, but he's a slot to me. Pons, certainly a guy that can start in the current cornerback room, but you're adding a really quality player into the rotation. I know the size is limited, but really quality cover guy. Starting caliber linebacker in Jake Golday too. I think your first 4 picks are all starters. Connor Lew is certainly somebody that can grow into one once you get him back from injury and give him some time to learn. Under Myers, a guy that can take over for the center role in the future. Got a really productive safety in Bud Clark. A blocking tight end, Eli Raridon, that has the traits to contribute as a receiver too. And then, some dart throws on late day 3 with Skylar Go Howard adding to the pass rush rotation on the interior. A potential hopeful backup quarterback in Luke Altmaier. And then a guy that I see more as kind of a special teams ace in Eric Gentry. So,
all right, fair enough. Drew, thank you so much for taking the time, and we will see you a week from today, my friend.
Thank you, Paul.
There he is, Drew Beatty, our NFL draft analyst. You can follow him at Iron City Film. I'll provide a few comments on the draft that Drew performed here, and then we'll open up the phone lines and we'll go crazy. Big show today, everybody. First off, if you're watching the show right now, I appreciate it. We have 300 people in the room, including over 100 of those 300 watching right now at this very moment in time on YouTube. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this show. We have 50 likes, but well over 100 people in the room. Please like that video. It is a free way to contribute to get this show in front of other Jet fans. Huge, 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 huge. And I see Pete and a few others were asking for a Tennessee mock draft before he gets out of here. Could he do a Tennessee mock? He did not have enough time. Drew gets on one of the big reasons real quick before I plug what I'm going to plug. The reason why we started these Monday shows at 7 a.m. instead of 7:30 is to accommodate Drew Beatty's schedule because he has a real job that he has to get to. And so 7:50 is normally when he has to get out. So he stayed a few minutes later. So unfortunately, we ran out of time. I would have loved to see a Tennessee Titans mock draft so you guys could get what you want there. Unfortunately, he couldn't because of a limited time. So I'm sorry for Peta and anyone else who is requesting that. My apologies. We have a absolutely massive interview coming up later today, folks, and I hope you guys can be a part of it. And I'm very proud of this. And I've never spoken with him before in terms of interview setting before this. And folks, the one and only recently retired Jets quarterback Chris Streveler will be joining us live at 1:30 today, folks. I don't know when's the last time Chris Streveler did an interview, but this is coming up, baby. At 1:30 live on the Boy Green channel here. We're going to talk about Chris about all kinds of things. He recently retired this offseason about a month ago or so. And we'll talk about some Jets memories, some of his favorite teammates, and a lot of stuff. It's going to be super cool. I've always wanted to talk to Chris. It had never lined up, and now perfectly. He retired this offseason. We'll be having Chris Streveler on live to reminisce about all kinds of Jet stories. I've got all kinds of fun questions for him and different things. So Chris Streveler, 1:30 live here on the show. Hopefully you guys can all check that out here on the channel later today. Also at 11 o'clock, if you hated Drew Beatty's mock draft, which is unfortunate if you did, we're doing a 3-round Jets mock draft at 11 o'clock. And I'll be doing it concurrently with my Giants partner in crime, Jim Lurch. So we will do 3-round mock for Giants, 3-round mock for Jets at the same exact time as we're competing against one another. So there should be a lot of intrigue happening here on the channel with pick 2, pick 5, pick 10, pick 16. We could trade. We could do whatever the hell we want. So I can't wait for that. That's coming up again at 11 o'clock today. So busy, busy day. Let me see. Did I forget anything else? Let me see on my calendar. No, that's it. And we do have a special guest tomorrow on the show. As a matter of fact, I believe we have 2 special guests on the show tomorrow. So more on that coming up. Actually, no, I think it's just one. One special guest tomorrow, which was another request. So I appreciate that. Big fella saying, great get. Thank you. Yeah, that's going to be, all-time great Jet. Oh, and a lot of compliments for old Strevy. So I appreciate that. That should be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that. All right. Now let me go back to the Drew Beatty mock draft. Here are some of my complaints. So, we could all debate till the cows come home. I've said it for a while that I've preferred Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. He had been the favorite to be the pick for a long time, and then over the last 2 weeks, the line shifted to David Bailey. And I just told you earlier, if you guys missed the show, the thing that bothers me, and I'll take this off the screen real quick, is that the changes that have happened. So again, all offseason, Arvell Reese. Okay, he's the guy, which again, I was cool with. Then, over a 2-week span, David Bailey burst out of nowhere. He's the guy, clearly. And let me give you an example. On April 15th, that was 5 days ago, Todd McShay released his mock draft 4.0. In that column, he predicted that the Jets would take David Bailey out of Texas Tech. And in the little blurb write-up, he said, based on basically a conversation with teams, it's basically a foregone conclusion that David Bailey is going to be the pick. That's what he said on April 15th. Just 3 days later, on April 18th, Todd McShay tweets out that he's going to bed thinking Arvell Reese is going to be the pick. What? Huh? How does things change over 3 days? How can you be so emphatic in one direction that it's very clearly, unequivocally David Bailey, and then, just kidding, it's Arvell Reese. So I don't know what the hell's going on. But I would just tell you this, to go back to Drew's mock here. I want it to be Arvell Reese. Now, I'm not going to be livid if it's David Bailey. He led college football in sacks last year. So, I think there's a path to David Bailey and Arvell Reese both being good. So I'm not going to lose my marbles. I prefer Reese very clearly. But if it's David Bailey, so be it. I'm not going to lose my my stuff on it. As I'm going to continue to share my thoughts on this mock, I see people saying, oh, he's a Titans fan. It makes sense now. Folks, I will be doing a mock draft today, a 3-round Jets mock draft at 11 o'clock. And as a Jets fan, I feel very in the know about being able to do a mock draft. But I think it's important for us to not enjoy. That's not the right way to say it. You guys can feel however you want to feel about mock drafts. But I think it's important that we have different perspectives. I think it's good news that Drew Beatty is not a Jets fan, because I wanted to see it from a different fan's perspective that studies all of this. Hey, you tell me what you think that the Jets are going to do. I find that fascinating. So I think actually the Titans fan thing doesn't bother me. Just because he's a Titans fan to me doesn't influence whatever the Jets thing is going to be. I don't think that way at all, just to address that comment. But more on this. Let's keep going here on my assessment of Drew Beatty's mock draft, which we'll put up on social media, and you guys can let us know how you really feel. Omar Cooper Jr. at 16. This is a mock selection we've seen before, but here's what I would say. If Omar Cooper Jr. is on the board here, I would probably, with all due respect, I'd probably prefer to go in a different direction. Vega was on the board at 16. If Omar Cooper, and Jordan Tyson was on the board too, but I don't think Jordan's going to be there. So if we're doing realistic mocks, I don't think Jordan Tyson's going to be there. I think he goes top 10. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. If the Jets really in their head wanted a wide receiver, and we're here at 16, their best wide receiver is Omar Cooper, whoever the fourth guy is, I'm probably going to a different position, to be honest. I'm probably going Vega. I'm probably going Jermod McCoy, who is on the board. I think I'm going, give me the best interior offensive lineman. Give me the best corner. Give me a different – I don't want a fourth wide receiver. Now, I get it. The more we wait at wide receiver, the worse the receivers in theory are going to be. So, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to force wide receiver. I want a wide receiver. I don't want, if the Jets really like one of these wide receivers, they should move on and move up the board and go get their guy. I don't want to just settle for Omar Cooper Jr. or Denzel Boston. Who, by the way, Denzel Boston, I probably prefer with the size and everything. I think he would be a perfect complement in theory to Garrett Wilson. D'Angelo Ponce, I've said it before. That's a very Aaron Glenn corner if there ever was one. I'm fine with D'Angelo Ponce. The corner need is bigger than I think people realize. I would have, although I probably would have preferred, if we're playing this game right, so he traded back from 33 and we had 44 and 48, I probably would have taken Jacob Rodriguez at 44 to get my linebacker and then hope that D'Angelo Ponce was there at 48 and hope that all played out. So that's probably what I would have done. NC Green says, or maybe trade down from 16 to get Boston. That's possible. Carolina's the one I'd be afraid of because they could take a wide receiver at 19. Yeah, that would be my fear. Let's go to Mac here with a member super chat. Thanks for being a member for 16 months, buddy. Appreciate you.
Wow.
If the Jets draft Jordan Tyson at 16, then they need to get a wide receiver at 44, basically as insurance. I agree. You definitely need to insulate the position. If you go Tyson, which would be very exciting for all these people in the audience, he's super talented. I've never questioned that, but the injuries just give me the heebie-jeebies. But I agree with your overall take, Mac, that you would have to insulate the position by getting other wide receivers, because then you're just going to be last year again. Jordan Tyson gets a hamstring pull and OTAs. You're like, what the? So yes, 100%. By the way, someone mentioned it earlier, and thank you. The Jets offseason programs start today. So hey now. So that means we should be hearing from Aaron Glenn here in the very near future, media-wise. Darren Muji speaks to the media tomorrow morning, I believe. I believe it's at 9 o'clock for his pre-draft presser, so we should have some there. Aaron Glenn may be at that as well. So, yes, we're going to get some more Jets content, which is awesome. And then the draft this week, obviously. So, yes, but I agree with your point, Mac. I would want insulation at the wide receiver position if they went that direction. Yes. Yes, I concur 1,000%, Mac. I concur 1,000%. Linebackers definitely need for the New York Jets, so I'd prefer Jacob Rodriguez personally over Goldday, but, different strokes, different folks. I wouldn't mind interior offensive line, so I guess that would be a miss for me, is that he didn't add a guard. I would love to have added a guard during this draft. So that would have been a criticism of mine. I like center, let's let them compete. Let's compete with Josh Myers. I like that. I don't mind adding a safety to the room. You could roll out with the safety group, or you could add to it. Nothing wrong with that. They could add a tight end for sure. And it's probably more appropriate than some of the other conversations, but you have to be open to a Kenyon Sadiq conversation. Late round flyer on a quarterback. That could be the direction that they go on day 3. So we'll keep an eye out for that one as well. Yeah, but that's a mock, and we'll let you guys judge it on social media shortly after the show, so you guys can let us know how you really feel about it. You guys are already doing that right now, as a matter of fact. Before we go to the phone lines, I want to provide another update on my brother Brody, and I can't say this enough. Thank you to everyone that's reached out, and for those who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, or you don't know me, or don't know my channel, my brother Brody, unfortunately, fell very ill. And it was a very scary situation, and he's still in the hospital. So my pop has provided a medical update that I will highlight here on the screen for my brother Brody. Hop on Pop 22 says, Brody update. Yesterday was a stable day with limited improvement. He remains in ICU and is fighting through this difficult time. Your continued thoughts and prayers are appreciated, and I want to reiterate that right now. My family's really appreciated it. It's very scary right now. A lot of stuff is up in the air. This is very challenging. I love my brother Brody like nobody's business. You guys may have met him or seen him or interacted with him in some form or fashion on this channel when he called in. Here he is. I'll throw this up here. Here's my brother Brody, a big Saints fan. And one of his many nicknames is Ace. He likes that nickname. It's a cool nickname. Yeah, this is my brother Brody, who I love very much. There he is in his Saints jacket, getting the Heisman pose in there. I'd like to see a little better security on the football. The 3 points of contact I'd prefer. He's sort of holding it like a loaf of bread. But, if we're criticizing the mock draft from Drew, I got to criticize football, handling happening here. But that's neither here nor there. But in all seriousness, I love my brother Brody and want him to be okay. And any prayers you guys have to share are very meaningful. So me and my family appreciates that. Thank you. So keep those coming. We'll try to give you guys all the love we can and all the updates we can at the appropriate times that are there. But Brody, we're thinking about you, buddy. Thank you. So appreciate that. Some love for Brody here on the channel. I will tell you, Pop, you're going to love this. Drew Biddy, before the show started, I said, we've only done one other 7-round mock draft on this channel. My old man, my pop did it. And I told Drew that my pop's not a draft analyst. He that's not his work of choice. But despite that, he pulled out a 7-round mock draft, posted up on, we put it up on Instagram, put it up on all social media anytime someone does a mock draft live here on the show. And it went viral. I mean, I've never seen something like this. It has 1,200 likes or something on Instagram. I've never had a post go viral like that for that. Like, I've had jokes go viral. Like one of the pinned Instagram videos I have is a joke I made about the Jet season last year, and it has millions of views, and that's cool. But like, I haven't had like a mock draft go viral like that. So shout out to Pop. So apparently a legend, a man of the people. People loved it and hated it, but it went viral. So shout out to Pop for that. So that is absolutely beautiful. So shout out there. All right, peeps, let's do this. Let's take a time out. We'll welcome in your phone calls. Again, we have a very busy day today. Let's line it all up. 11 o'clock, live, 3-round mock draft. I'm pulling the trigger now. Move over, Drew Beatty. I'm the captain now, and I run the ship. And we can do trades and anything else in the universe. So that'll be up. That'll be live, 11 o'clock. You guys can influence and send in super chats and do all the fun stuff you guys want to do. So feel free to do that. So I'll try to rack my brain around what I want to do for that 3-round mock. That'll be coming up at 11 o'clock. Then at 1:30, Chris freaking Streveler, baby. Yeah, this guy, Chris Streveler, getting hollered at in the locker room after one of his preseason games. We'll be talking to Chris Streveler. He retired this offseason at the age of 31. I'm curious about the retirement. Is like 13, 14-month run with the Jets, where he's this preseason quarterback all-star. He's just a fascinating guy. He's won a Grey Cup. I don't know. There's just a lot of personality there. And now he's a motivational speaker and does a lot of different stuff now. So actually, I just can't wait. That's just been an interview I've been wanting to do for a long time. So that will be happening live here on the channel at 1:30. I hope you guys can all join and support that coming up. If you're in our YouTube live section, you should already see the interview. So it'll be waiting in there to be happening live. You guys can already like that video and show your support. So very much looking forward to that. With that being said, let's do this, folks. We have over 300 people in the room. Again, I continue to pound the table for you guys to like the video and hit subscribe. This is going to be a seismic week for the show's history. I just feel it in my bones that there's potential for this show to blow the hell up this week. We're going to be live at the draft in Pittsburgh. It'll be myself. It'll be Johnny Boy. It'll be Lou B. I want to thank my fiance for all the prep. I've already packed up. I normally never pack this early. I'm all packed up for the trip. Can't thank Lou B enough for giving me and Johnny Boy a chance to go to this draft. I wasn't sure if I was even going to go, so Johnny Boy and Lou B both deserve a ton of credit for me even going. It's been a bucket list item for me forever. So I think this is going to be so cool. And I'm pinching myself every day that I'm actually going to be there. So all the hotels and everything are booked. So let's go. Hopefully this is an absolutely sick experience. And I hope it is. So that will be gnarly. All right, folks, let's do this. We'll take a time out, and then we'll welcome your phone calls next right here on Boy Green Daily, baby.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa! Boy Green, Boy Green, Boy Green, Boy Green.
Welcome back to Boy Green Daily. I'm Paul Lesson Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green, the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, a daily New York Jets video show. I'll tell you this. So I got a haircut. Not sure if you guys noticed, but cleaned up the beard. Very nice. They did some nice stuff. Look at the lettuce up here. Okay, there you go. Nice. Okay, it looks great. So here's the thing. So I'm at the barber shop, all right? And then there's some talk going on, as there is at a barber shop. And if someone brings up, there's music playing at this barbershop, and someone says, "Oh man, I love this guitar solo, man. It's sick." And then someone else goes, "Well, what's the best guitar solo of all time?" And then they're all like, "Ooh, yeah, that's great." And all the guys are talking. I said, "Oh, I know." They're like, "Yeah, Paul, lay it on us." And I said, "Hap." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Hap." Like. And they're like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." I'm like, "I'll send you the video." I'm like, "Yeah, the greatest guitar solo I've ever heard of all time. It's the best." And so I did tell them that. I don't think they knew of it, which shame on them, those uncultured swine. But yeah, best guitar solo of all time. That conversation did in fact happen over the weekend. I went Saturday. For people that are Espresso Club members, you saw me walking around downtown randomly. I was waiting for my haircut, and that conversation came up. Guitar solo, the old Hepster. Yep. Rising up the charts, baby. All right, the phone lines are open. That's a pin comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. If you'd like to call into the show, now is the time to do so. We got a couple of shows. My Wednesday morning show will be live, and then we'll be traveling that afternoon. So Boy Green Daily Thursday morning, draft day will be in Pittsburgh from the Airbnb. And I believe the Survivor Show Wednesday night, Wi-Fi pending, will also be happening for people that enjoy that content as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a ton of great content this week. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Let's go to the phone lines. And we'll start it off with the greatest guitar soloist of all time. It's happening.
Yeah, sure, that's me.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, you really got your schedule is amping up this week, huh?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. The one thing, like, I normally just don't I just don't do things by myself. Like, obviously I go to work, I drive by myself, but like on that Saturday day, Johnny Boy will be gone, Luby will be gone. I'm dropping people off at airports, and then the rest of the day I have booked it out the hotel for that night so I could stay in town to do any other draft stuff. So I'll just sort of be figuring it out on the fly. So, when the cat's away, the mice will play. We'll see what that means for Boy Green out on the town in Pittsburgh. Hopefully that's good news.
Well, you are in Pittsburgh after all.
Yeah, that's true.
I was thinking, the Titans are projected to take Love at 4.
Yeah.
And us taking him at 2 is like hair on fire. Are you out of your mind? But them at 4 is not. Okay, I don't understand all that. But
which pisses off Lou B, by the way, because he says that all the time. How? What in the hell is it? Like, it's also the wide receiver thing too. I think in a different way. People say, "Oh, wide receiver 2, no, you can't do that." Then wide receiver 5, yes, great. And they're like, "What? What the? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really thrilled with this wide receiver class. I think we're trying to really force the issue here. I don't think these guys are all that. I mean, for where you want to pick them at, I don't see that. One guy is a walking injury. The other guy drops the ball. And the one guy is a little wound tight and can't get off the line, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you took Love and put him in the slot, would he be just as good as Love? I mean, just as good as who's the other guy? Lemon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. There is something to be said that, like, if you just boil it down to this, Jeremiah Love can catch, and guess what? He can also run for you. So he can do that and more. So that's part of the argument, if that's what you're doing. Instead of forcing a square peg in a round hole wide receiver, that, hey, just take the best offensive threat. And then if your offensive coordinator is worth his lunch money, he's going to figure out how to use that person in theory. Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess the key is going to be to see what happens with Breece Hall coming up into the draft and see what, if there's any moves to be made around that position. And that'll be the key. If all of a sudden you hear, Denver's, traded for Breece Hall, then we'll know that that's a possibility.
That's the thing I will throw out in the universe. I was going to call the Rich Eisen show, but then I called in. I was waiting. They're just too busy. I was waiting like an hour. I'm like, all right, I guess I just can't get on because I would have loved to scream for the rooftops that if it happens, I'll be the greatest guy of all time. But what if Darren Mucci granted Breece Hall secretly behind the scenes says, hey, Denver, do you want Breece Hall? Yeah, sure. For whatever, 3rd round pick. It doesn't matter. All right, Breece, you and your agent, very quietly, no one can know about this. You guys go meet with Denver in the back room to work on the extension. That has to be a part of this trade if it's going to happen. And then on draft day, we're going to pull the trigger and do the love, boom, boom, boom. Lou B will die and his heavenly body will ascend to the heavens if that happens. And I will be right next to him and I will hold the limp carcass that remains over and I will put a Jeremiah Love jersey on that body for him. That would be
you have to get the smelling salts.
100%. Like, wait, bring him back. And then just like Lou B just comes back to life. Like, that'd be great. So I don't know if that's really going to happen. Is that just some little made up voice in my head? But my God, that would be nuts. Oh my goodness. That'd be very dramatic. Yeah.
As far as Denzel Boston goes, I liken him to like a Wayne Corbett type of guy that just gets the first down. He dropped the ball 4 times in 4 years in college. He's a big target though too. And he's also be good someone in the end zone. He's a nice complement to what Garrett Wilson does. I don't see him as a 1B. He's more of like a solid 2. You know,
Which is fine. We
yeah,
needed
which
to.
is fine. We need that. But even then, if we want to go next the following year, I think the fruit's gonna be a little riper on next year's draft as far as
Seems
receivers.
it.
Yeah. All right, thanks guys.
Appreciate you, Hap, joining us, the greatest guitar soloist of all time. Join us here on the show. Beautiful. Shout out to the one and only Hapster. Beautiful. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here on the program. Up next is a man I'm going to be seeing in a matter of days. It's Johnny Boy here on the program.
Yo, what up, BG?
Hey, what's cracking, man? Are you ready? Are you feeling it? Because I'm feeling it. My balls are getting tight. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I'm about to hop in the car in a few days, and I'm just going to be, I'm driving to Pittsburgh. No big deal. The NFL draft. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm real hype, man. I cannot wait. Like I was talking to my wife. She thinks I have a problem because I keep saying like very, very evil, very nice, constantly everywhere now. So, but yeah, dude, I can't wait, man. Like like I keep telling you, man, these picks, they're gonna be tied with us for a long time because I mean it's first time, first draft, being there in person to be able to see that. So I'm excited. But I came on because I wanted to talk to you really quickly about how much impact does Steve Smith's what up, Luby?
Draft guru. I'm not Luby.
That's the draft guru, man.
Draft guru.
Some respect.
But how much
Please.
impact does Steve Smith's top 10 wide receiving freaking thing mean to anybody? Because I was after 4, he put Branch, Chris Bell, Malachi Fields, then Casey Concepcion and then Bernard. And I was like, holy crap. Because, everybody has KC after Denzel Boston. But he's like, no. The Carnell take conversation that he talks about was very intriguing to me. Dude, I had no idea. He's only dropped 5 balls his entire collegiate career.
Pretty good.
So same thing with Denzel Boston, but
so I want to start this off with all due respect, and I really sometimes you say that you don't mean it. I love Steve Smith. I loved him as a player. Again, fellow vertically challenged guy, a feisty pit bull at wide receiver, and a tough son of a gun that got in people's faces or hopped on a stool and got in front of people's faces. Like I like Steve Smith. I like him a lot. And I think he knows more about the wide receiver position than I'm ever going to pretend to know in my life. With that being said, there has just been times where Steve Smith in his analysis life has been called out for just sort of, he has a very engaging personality, is that mixed his personality with just coming up with takes that aren't always based in reality. Like Steve Smith, I don't have all the examples. I wish I would keep them. But Steve Smith gotten caught with his pants down a few times on things that he said. Like he just said something completely that wasn't true about a wide receiver. Like he had this thing wrong or this thing wrong and went on a whole take about it. People are like, oh, that's not even true at all. So the rest of this rant doesn't make any sense. So when those starts happening, I feel like everyone in my life enters my life at 100%. For some people, it's 0, and they have to earn their trust based on whatever that relationship is, and you gain points. To me, everyone starts at 100, and then when like you diss me or anything happens, you start losing points. But I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Anyone I meet in my life starts at 100% to me. I have no reason to think they're a terrible person. They're great. So for Steve Smith's analysis, it started at maybe 150% because of my respect level for Steve Smith. And then these things have continued to happen, and the boo, 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 the me taking his thing seriously have unfortunately degraded over the years. So no, like he knows the receiver position very well, but I'm not sure if I'm following him for draft takes anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that he put, like, don't get it twisted. Branch is a really good wide receiver. I love them over there at Georgia. But I would probably say that I think Chris Bell is better than Branch overall.
I would say, right? For sure.
And he has over him, which is crazy to me. I'm like, what? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So I wanted to put that out there to see, like, what did you think of that, seeing his actual top 10? I yeah, like dude, he doesn't even have the kid from Tennessee on the
Chris
red.
Brassel the second. Yeah,
You
that'll
know,
make that'll make Drew Beatty very upset. I would say the Chris Bell thing obviously is the injury. Obviously, he tore his ACL in late November, had surgery in December, so that complicates the timeline for a lot of people. Now, in today's day and age, that kind of surgery shouldn't be major. Like in 1984, sure, tearing your ACL is a big deal. Like I prefer someone not to tear it. I don't want people to start tearing their ACLs on purpose. But if a torn ACL happens, it's a more understandable technology thing. Here with the advancements of medical technology to recover from that and knowing that you're going to be good here in 2026. So, hey, I hope if we got Chris Bell in the second round, that'd be super exciting.
100%. Lil B, I love the hat, man.
Whoa. That's not Lou B. That's the draft guru.
My
Gosh
bad,
darn
guru.
it, Johnny boy. Do you want to stay on this show? Do you want to stay on this trip,
Short
pal?
memory this man has. Short memory.
Yeah. There you go. Anywho, draft guru, please. Whoa.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
Draft
Good Lord,
Guru
mercy.
has a message for the Jet fans.
Okay.
I can see the future in October. The Jet fans crying and crying if they pass on Jeremiah Love and saying, why? Why did we take David Bailey over this man? Why? This is the Draft Guru's last message before the draft.
There you go.
Thank you.
Wow. Beautiful. There he is, the draft guru.
Definitely
us
watched
on the show.
WrestleMania last night as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, draft guru. We will see you in a matter of days, sir.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Goodbye, my people.
Goodbye, my people. And then, is that a firework? Was that pyro? That was hilarious. Yeah, WrestleMania was excellent. Thank you, draft guru, for joining us here on the show. Beautiful.
Oh yeah. Well, BG, that was my that's what I was hitting you up for because I wanted to like your thoughts in regards to that. So it was kind of like just everywhere this time around, and I was like, but he did have he had Tyson 1B.
Well, let's say this about Branch because some people may have missed it. So let me see. Where is this? Yeah, Branch got arrested, but I want to make sure we read the whole story. Okay, so former Georgia wide receiver Zachariah Branch, who was widely expected to be a day 2 NFL draft pick, was arrested early Sunday morning in Athens, Georgia, on 2 possible misdemeanor charges. That was the overall report. Then Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network says they have obtained the police report on the misdemeanor charges against Zachariah Branch, who was arrested while standing on a public sidewalk for not moving far enough when a police officer asked him to move. Here is it directly from the report, according to Tom Pelissero on Zachariah Branch. Quote, a male later identified as Zachariah Branch continued to stand on the sidewalk without making an attempt to move. I continued, this police officer, to give Zachariah Branch verbal commands to move from blocking the sidewalk and advised that if he did not, he would receive a citation for blocking the sidewalk. Zachariah Branch smirked, then stepped backwards and to the right, then remained standing upon the public sidewalk so as to obstruct, hinder, and impede the passage upon the sidewalk, as well as impede free egress to and from the adjacent places of business. Due to those actions and Zachariah Branch's failure to comply with multiple verbal lawful commands, he was placed under arrest for misdemeanor obstruction of LEO and received a citation for obstructing public sidewalks, end quote. Was apparently the charges for one Zachariah Branch. I saw someone share that they believe his draft stock went up because you want a wide receiver who can block. So there you go for Zachariah Branch.
Talking about block, that was the other thing about Carnell Tate. I had no idea he had just no penalties at all from what he blocking and stuff like that too. So I was like, oof, that's really good. But anyways, BG, appreciate great news on your brother. Prayers up still, man. So shout out to Pops putting up the news he puts up pretty much every day so far. So appreciate it. And 3 more days, dog. 3 more days. We get to see the draft guru himself, our guy Lou B. We get to deal with BG. And dude, I don't even know, bro. Like it's just about to be it's gonna be fun, man. Dude, I'm not gonna front. At this point, because we're going to be there, I want them to draft Jeremiah Love.
Oh, my God.
I want to see Lou B lose his crap right then and there, bro. And then he just runs up onto the stage and then just gets tackled. He said, "I made this happen. It was because of me."
Oh, he should take full credit. I hope he does. That would be, again, I just want something crazy. They trade up for something. They draft someone we're not expecting, right? Like everyone's like, oh, it's definitely gonna be this. And then Goodell, we're like feet away from the guy, and he says, actually, the Jets select blah. And we're like, whoa! Like, man, all of the moments that are possible. I mean, Curtis Martin's going to be naming the second round picks. Like, oh my God. So yeah, I just, again, it's surreal to say these words I know are true, but like for that to happen, to see you at the airport, we're both in Pittsburgh. Like, oh my God, I'm just, I don't know when it's going to hit me, man, but I'm super excited about it. I can't wait.
Dude, I'm going to be like all in Jets gear, decked out when I'm on there, and people are just going to be like, oh, Jets fan?
I got a suitcase right here off camera. The Zubas are in there. I had to like dig. I was like, where the hell are they? It's like my fiance hates them. So I was like, I'm like, did she like burn them or something? Or are they hidden? So I uncovered the entire dresser top, and then I found them like, oh, and then I put them in there.
Yeah, dude. And then Curtis Martin the next day, like, I mean, I can't wait, man. So, and then too, not only that, BG, but I think a lot of it is the networking that we'll be able to do.
Of course.
Being able to see a whole bunch of other Jet people and things like that. It's gonna be a cool experience, man. Can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait.
Let's go.
Later, BG.
Appreciate you, Johnny Boy. Can't wait to see you in a couple of days. It's going to be an absolute hoot. And again, everybody here on the channel, just stay locked in. We are going to be providing a ton of content. We'll be doing normal shows, but it'll probably be coming via like YouTube shorts and stuff. So like quick videos coming out on things like my reaction to picks. If we do crazy things in Pittsburgh, all that is going to be a lot of fun for sure. I see the number one Austrian Jet fan has just gifted a 10-pack of Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. Let's go. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Let's fire up all the energy here. Every time we get a 5-pack or more of memberships, we rock with it.
Kevin James. I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Oh, there you go, baby. A 10-pack of Boy Green Coffee Club memberships have now been gifted to the audience. Let's go. And number one Austrian Jet fan, you are now in first place in our contest, which we appreciate, with 32 raffle tickets. Absolutely phenomenal. So thank you to the number one Austrian Jets fan with 32 raffle tickets to our contest. And again, I will highlight here in just a moment the absolute package of items that we have up for grabs this month after I read these 10 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. So let's bring those cool cats in, these cool cats and kittens in on the show, as one Hep likes to say occasionally. Let's read all these members. So shout out here again to the one and only number one Austrian Jet fan. If you guys would like to gift memberships, if you're watching on YouTube, let's get a membership train going. It is the money sign right next to the comment section that you could get here on the show. All right, here are the 10 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Rick Kent is back. Welcome back. We got David Perry, Ginger Beaner. We've got Just Endure the Suffering. Where else here do we have? JM27. We have CT Jets fan. We have Tyrese brother, or Tyrese Rother. Excuse me, sorry. All the handles now make it very hard for Boy Green to read. J-Dubs, James Fitzpatrick. You guys are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. And Aiken, you are now a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club as well. Shout out to our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby. That is the way to do it. Our moderator, Jared B., just dropped the Discord link. We're trying to pick it back up. That's on me. I want to get the activity cooking again in the Discord. So if you are a Boy Green Coffee Club member, you do have access to the Discord channel. So feel free to take full advantage of that out in our audience as well. And before we get back to the phone lines, let me show you guys the prizes for this month. So feel free to get involved here with the package of prizes, which includes the brand new 2026 New York Jets draft hat. I'll be wearing it when I drive down there on Wednesday. Here you go. if you spend $3 on the channel, which is how you get a raffle ticket. If you're new to the channel, every single month I do Jets giveaways here on the channel where you guys out in the audience can win fabulous prizes for relatively dirt cheap. Again, there's only 10 days left in the month of April. Today is April 20th. The final day in April is Thursday, April 30th. So that's not this Thursday, it's next Thursday. So again, folks, if you want a chance to win all these prizes, a brand new Jets 2026 NFL draft hat, that's on the table. A 50-pack of New York Jets trading cards. You can collect them, play with them with your kids, do whatever you want, and a Sauce Gardner jersey, which, again, I will be using as an anti-cult watching device to give them bad juju. All of these prizes will be given to one lucky person on May 1st, Friday, May 1st, and then we'll immediately announce our new raffle that'll be coming up. So, folks, this is the way to do it. Feel free. We already have the jersey and cards purchased, but the hat is not purchased yet. So whoever wins that contest on May 1st, I'll reach out to you, and you guys can pick whatever style of hat and size and all that you want from the NFL shop, which we'll be doing as well. So, folks, make sure you jump on the train. Toot, toot. That draft hat is pretty sweet. I haven't worn it on my head yet, but I've seen it, which is absolutely beautiful. It looks spectacular. All right, let's do this. Let's go back to the phone lines here. That's a pinned comment on youtube.com/boydgreen25. We go to your mama's favorite mock drafter. It's Ricky New York Live, baby.
Hey, what's happening, Paul?
Hey, good to see you, pal. It's draft week, baby.
Yes, I know. Trust me. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Speaking of mock drafts,
yes.
I passed an idea by you like a week or so ago and then never brought it up again.
Oh, okay. What was it? Yeah, go ahead. Relay back on me.
I've been working every day. So,
yeah.
Like, finally, I got a day off tomorrow.
Oh, yes. It just hit me what your idea was. Yes.
Yeah, the turbo mock. And we could even put like a 3-minute time limit on it.
Are you ready to do that right now?
We could. I was going to say we could do it tomorrow, but
okay.
If you want to do it right now, we can do it right now.
All right. That's the spirit. All right. Hang on tight here. Let me do this. Let me set up a few buttons. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Great. So, you could be the people's mock here because I saw a lot of people. Apparently, we're not fans. We'll see officially, I guess, when when I put it out on social media and see how people feel about it. But let's go. Let me set up the settings real quick. How many rounds do you want to do here, Ricky?
We can do them all, and you can put it on fast. You can put it on fast speed because it should not take me super long.
Wow. Okay. A 7-round in the moment mock draft. Terrific. Okay. Here we go, baby. Wow. I did not have this on the bingo card, but let's ride, baby. So we're going to have a live 7-round mock draft here. Okay. Let me press a few buttons here. All right, let's get this up on the screen. All right, we'll be using the PFF mock draft simulator, folks. We will have a 7-round live. What an honor. What a treat. Normally you can only see this on the Ricky New York Live YouTube channel, which is popping everybody's business. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of in the mood for it now because I saw some of the people that were available late when Drew was doing his, and I was like,
Okay.
And number 2 is going to be Arvell Reese.
Okay, let's go. So I'll make sure I do the chimes for you. Let's go. The number 2 overall pick, Arvell Reese. Before I make this selection, will you be doing any trading or anything, or are you just shooting? You're doing it straight?
I think it's just going to be stick and pick, straight up.
Okay, good.
Although I think Muji is going to do some trading. I won't.
Okay. All right. Arvell Reese, pick at number 2 overall. You're back on the clock at 16.
Show me safety real quick.
Safety. Oh, I think I know where you're going. All right, let's take a peek here at the safety board that's available with the 16th overall pick. Okay. Yes. Unfortunately, your guy left.
He's gone already. So we're gonna go Vega Ione.
Okay, let's hit those chimes, people. With the 16th overall pick, the New York Jets select Penn State offensive lineman at Vega Ione. There you go. We're going to jump over to the first pick of the second round, 33rd overall.
Okay. Show me wide receiver. Well, actually, I can kind of see the top ones right there.
Okay, but let me go over just in case to show you everybody. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Linebacker.
Okay, let's get some linebacker action happening here. Okay, all right, there you go. You got linebackers and receivers concurrently on the board at the same time. Okay,
and we're gonna go Jacob Rodriguez.
Ah, yeah, there you go. That's the spirit, Ricky. With the 33rd overall pick of this Ricky New York Live pop-up mock draft, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, Texas Tech, is off the board. All right, we're there at 44. What next?
And okay, and show me receivers again.
Okay, let's see. All right, it looks like everyone's on the board outside of Casey Concepcion. It looks like was the only one that went from A to B here.
Jeremy Bernard.
Okay, there you go. Some Alabama action. Sweet home Alabama.
I do like Chris Bell, but I'm looking for someone that's going to contribute right away, and you know, not like just the back half of the season.
Very fair. With the 44th overall pick, Alabama wide receiver Jeremy Bernard is the selection. This is going to skip us all the way to pick 103. Jets don't have a third-round pick. Thanks, Hassan Reddick, you bastard. All right, we're here, 103 in the fourth round, baby. Now where?
Show me tight end.
Okay, tight end. All right, you got a plan. I like the conviction here. All right, here we go.
Justin Jolie.
Okay, there we go. Hit it, people. 103 overall, the New York Jets select Justin Jolie, the tight end out of NC State. He's the pick. All right, it's going to jump us to 140, the final pick of the fourth round. Now, where are we going, Drew? Ricky.
This one is going to be interesting.
Okay.
Show me. Wow. You know what? Show me defensive tackle.
Ooh, okay. I like the cut of your jib, sir. Okay.
Zane Durant.
Okay, hit it.
Drew had the chance and passed on him, but I am not going to.
There you go. He blew it. With the 140th overall pick in the fourth round, Ricky New York Live selects Zane Durant, Durantula, the Slim Reaper, out of Penn State, the interior defensive lineman, Zane Durant. ZD.
I gave him the nickname the Sidewinder because the way he can turn sideways and get skinny and shoot a gap and still wins the leverage battle like without having a solid base. Crazy. Okay, and we're at 179.
Yep. Our fifth round selection. Yep.
Oh man, dude, I am so tempted to say Damon Claiborne right now. I don't think we're going to go that way. I think Brees is going to get re-signed, and that's not going to be a need.
Okay.
But I'm real tempted. I really, really like the player, and I'll get into that in a second here. But show me corner.
Let's go corner. Show that on the board. Okay.
Show me. Let me see.
Yeah.
Linebacker.
Okay. Ooh. All right. Okay. Some linebacker and some corner action here on the board.
Or actually, I'm sorry, edge.
Edge. I should have assumed that's what you're talking about. Okay, let's get edge. Okay. Some intriguing things here on the board.
Okay, you know what? I am going to go. You know what? I'm going to go back to corner.
Okay, let's go. Okay. All right.
Ezekiel Massis, the top option right there at the top, kid from Cal.
Here we go. All right. 179th overall in the fifth round, Ezekiel Massis, the quarterback out of Cal, is the selection. We don't have a sixth-round pick for a variety of reasons. We have two picks left in this Ricky New York Live pop-up mock draft, 2 seventh-rounders. We start out at 228 overall. Where are we going, Ricky?
And show me quarterback.
Quarterback. All right, here you go.
And this is typically where I would take the quarterback myself, and I'm going to take Sawyer Robertson.
Ooh, okay, there you go. Hit the chimes, people in the back. Let's go. 228th overall pick, the New York Jets select Baylor quarterback Sawyer Robinson. There you go. One final pick in this Ricky New York Live pop-up mock draft, 242 overall. Ricky.
Show me guard.
Ooh, let's get some interior offensive line action. All right.
Keep scrolling a little bit. And okay, and that's intriguing there. Show me. Okay, these are just all interior guys, right? So they're centers.
Guard centers. Yep. Both are in here. Yep.
Okay. You know what? This is or actually, you know what? Real quick before I make the selection, show me tight end just for the
Okay.
hell of it.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, that'll probably be somewhat picked over. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Actually, go back to go to receiver one last time too. I think
Yes,
I know
sir.
I think I know what the pick is going to be. Oh, you know what? Malik Benson. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Malik Benson. Absolutely.
Hit it.
Past Oregon wide receiver. Started his career at Florida State.
So
okay. I have seen him up close and personal. And that should just about do it.
There you go. Malik Benson, the wide receiver at Oregon, is the final pick here for Ricky New York, a live mock draft.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
And the other thing is dude, I brought this up before.
Sure.
MetLife turf.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks that is even a conversation, but Jeremiah Love, like his superpower is being able to make those cuts at full speed.
Mm-hmm.
MetLife turf. Like,
yeah.
Those don't seem like a good fit. Whereas Damon Claiborne is like a more physical type runner. He'll run guys over, but he's also got like a second gear where he can take it to the house anytime he touches it. So unfortunately, because of our field situation, I feel like he's a better fit for us.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm curious to oh goodness, Taylor does not like my mock.
No, apparently not. He says this mock is making me so angry, in all caps. Wow. People are very passionate about mock drafts, very much so. But Ricky, I'm glad that we're able to finally do this. This is something you floated out there, so this is great.
You know what? The board didn't break exactly how I had hoped.
Sure,
but all in all, like, dude, I'm looking right there. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starters. You know,
good.
and a rotational guy,
a
backup quarterback. You know, a depth piece at corner, and a receiver all the way in the back end at the very last pick that could actually come in and compete for a spot.
Yeah, that's I think you nailed it here, Ricky. This is amazing. So like I said, I'm glad we're able to finally do this, and I guess we're running out of time. This would have been one of our last chances here, pal. Wow. Speedster.
I don't know if I managed to pull it off in under 3 minutes like I boasted, but it was pretty quick.
That's for sure. Yeah, I had the stopwatch.
Like, you know what? I mean, all of us that have done mocks, like, we should know by now, like, who's likely to be there, who's not. And
yeah.
The one thing that I think, you know, it for me and for some other people that I know too, like, you know, the thing they don't like about mocks is like when people are sitting there trying to make up their mind, and it's like, oh, you know, come on already, you know. And of course, everyone at home is like yelling out the name of what they would take,
right?
You know, because I know I do a lot of times. Like I've, you know, some mocks I'm in agreement with most of them. Some of them, like, I'm yelling at the computer, like, what are you doing? You know, like, I can't believe that guy was there and you passed on him. Like,
which is the way to do it. And I would say this to those people, because I know I see them. I've done mock drafts before where people are yelling, like, come on, make the pick. And I'm like, to me, the fascinating part is the debate. Like, you're like, boy, I could take wide receiver 3, or I could have the first corner, or I could have this. And hearing the conversations like, damn, I was leaning this way, but wow, they just swayed me with a great take on the depth of a certain position in the class. Like, I like those conversations. To me, that's really where we get into the meat and potatoes, which rings the bell for me.
Honestly, if the Jets had the draft that I just did, I would be perfectly happy with it.
Okay.
You know, at 16, who knows? Maybe it's McCoy or a Colton Hood or a corner like that, you know, and they take a corner higher or something. I don't know that we're going to go guard that early. And Ione's an awesome player.
Yeah.
But dude, we did just bring in Parham, and people who have kind of like just went like, like, you know, kind of that's an afterthought all of a sudden. Go back and watch Ashton Genty from last year. More times than not, when he broke a big run, Parham was out there blocking. That kid's going to be better than I think people are giving him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And one last point.
Yes, of course.
As I was speaking about that, dude, the debate that if you don't get a good guard, one of those top 4 guys, then you're just shit out of luck. There's Jalen Farmer's got some upside. There's a couple of guys a little bit later, and one in particular. And when you got a big time explosive, game changing running back that's on the board, that everybody's talking about, you would be foolish not to look at his offensive lineman. And I'm talking about Billy Schroth from Notre Dame, baby. Dude, he's nasty. He can pull. He's got that nasty attitude that you want your offensive lineman to have. And there's another show. I'm not going to say the name if it's not okay, but there's another show that I watch on YouTube that I get a lot of draft information from. Last night while I was at work, I just happened to notice that he had a video like, these are my guys, in this draft. And Billy Schroth was one of them. And he was like, you know what? He was like, his USC tape, when I watched it, is probably the best tape of any offensive lineman in this entire class. And I was like, wow, okay. And so I started watching a lot of it this morning, and I was like, holy shit, he's not joking. This is pretty impressive. He does play nasty. And so I also like oh God, I'm gonna screw his name up. Logan Taylor from Boston College. I was afraid I was gonna say Logan Jones because I've been doing that.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah.
Damn interior offensive lineman. Anyways, so there are guys, and I wouldn't be upset, if we took a Logan Taylor or Alex Harkey or somebody like that later in the draft to have depth behind those 5 starting guys we have now. Because it hadn't been that long ago that we were going through a dozen offensive linemen a season. So depth is important. And I think if Salah's regime taught us anything, you can have depth, but if you don't got the right guys in the building, how many other people got their offensive line decimated and they seemed fine, but we, and that's where I think all the, and I don't want to sound like I'm discounting having good character guys in the building, but
of course,
sometimes you don't want a nice guy to be your offensive lineman. You want the nasty guy. And so, I don't know if we're going to go that direction early or not, but I wouldn't mind some depth there because it does all kind of start up front. Without those guys, nobody else can do anything. The offense goes how the line goes most of the time. So anyways, thanks, man. That was a blast. Hopefully people enjoyed it. Taylor, sorry about that, man. I'll see you in the chat tomorrow and I'll find out exactly what you didn't like about it. And I'll see if I can't make you feel a little bit better.
There you go.
But I don't mock lightly, especially when I'm doing one like a what would I do one like that. So
yeah.
I have reasons behind all my picks, but thanks, man. That was a blast. Glad we got to pull that off. And 3 more days. Hell
Let's go. That's it. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting a message from the future right now.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
It's Don Dokken. And he says, it's not love. Sorry, Luby.
There you go. Ricky, you're the best, baby. Ricky New York Live YouTube channel. Shout out to Ricky. And now my pre-draft process is complete. Ricky was able to come on and do a live pop-up mock draft. So terrific. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that out in the audience. Wow. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. The Kyle Clifton call.
How you doing, Boy Green?
Oh, all right, man. A lot has happened today. A lot has happened. Wow.
Yeah, there's always a lot of debate around these mocks, and apparently in Ricky's case, some smoking with some of the chat. So
yeah,
I did like some of the value he got there late. I think that guy from Oregon is someone who falls consistently across the different sims.
Yeah, interesting.
So with your guest, I think that at 16 he did take the guard. Ione, is that right?
Yeah, let me pull up his mock draft again here. Let me see his full shish kebab. All right, that's Ricky's mock. Here's his mock. All right, we're coming up. No, I believe he went Omar Cooper, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this is his mock draft.
But Ione was on the board, right?
He was. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I hate that.
You hate what he did? And
I hate what he did.
Yeah, because that's what I said after. I told him that, like, I'm not forcing. I know we all need a receiver. I'm not stupid. I know we need a receiver, but I'm not forcing if it's Omar if I'm going to do it, I probably would have preferred Denzel Boston. But if I wouldn't have, I would have said Jermon McCoy was on the board. And I know a lot of Jet fans are very in the middle about us taking a corner. That to me would have been very intriguing. Vega would have been very intriguing. I just would have looked under other pots. If that's a wide receiver that served on my platter, I would have looked under other pots.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the exercise is when you look up and you see the players that are available, and you see a guy that you say, well, this guy shouldn't be available. That's the guy you take.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and regardless of position, although you could argue that is a position of need for us, right? Even with the Parham signing, what you do there is you're forced to move Tippmann back to center.
Right.
And there are worse things in the world than having Tippmann as your center, right?
right.
So, like, that's the one thing I would do. And then, at 33, you still have the ability to dip into future years, maybe do, some sort of, later round pick, and maybe come up a few spots and maybe grab a wide out, like if there's somebody you like there. I'd rather do that. Or basically trade back from 33, get a couple extra picks, and take 3 shots at wide receiver, knowing you're going to miss on at least one, right? Because it's a deep draft. There's different flavors. The goal for this draft is to get some help and pull up the room, right? I don't think if you miss on the top 3 guys, you're going to be able to get the Robin to Garrett's Batman. But that doesn't mean that you can't improve the room vastly. So that's the way I think we should think about it. And the other way to improve the offense is to get a tight end too that's a pass catcher. So that's something that you would look to do maybe as early as 44. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Like if things fall the way that they're going to, that looks like they're going to, then there's no need to panic. We can stick and pick. We can take down tons of value. But, as we saw last year in the 3rd round, sometimes it's going to be positions that we don't perceive as needs. But that's kind of how the draft goes. Like that, the draft is, you want to marry need to value, but it doesn't always happen.
Definitely
if you
not.
can take down tremendous value, you just take it down in the draft and then you trade or you cut people and you free up money and you sign someone out in the post free agency market. That's kind of how it goes. I appreciate your time.
There he is, Kyle Clifton. Yeah, my strategy is pretty simple. Add good football players. Don't overthink it. Add good football players. And then figure out the rest later. To sort of everything Kyle was saying, I don't want to just repeat what Kyle said, but if you add an extra this, then that gives you flexibility here to move and do this. Like, just be flexible. I think is the key to all this. We have 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Up next, we have some people are lead pipe wielding professionals. Others are cigar pipe wielding professionals. And we have that one right now on the show. It's Neil Sr.
Paul, how you doing?
Hey, I love that.
What?
Must. There you go.
What was Ricky's grade on his draft? Did he have a grade?
C plus.
C plus. I remember Lou B did a draft a couple weeks ago. He got a B on his.
He did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said that he would have got a higher grade, but he made a little change and everything. And Lou B started with me very early with this love thing, and I was lukewarm on it in the beginning, but I expect that him and I have had a lot of conversations since, and he tried getting me out to the draft. But I will say this.
Yes, sir.
I'd be wild. That'd be great if we got, Love at 2 and traded Brees and did whatever we needed to do. I'm looking to see something different. And, we need to do something as a team that's out of the ordinary because as far as need goes, we need everything. I mean, let's face it. It's not like you could really pinpoint what our needs are. The one thing we did do in free agency is we addressed the defense pretty much exclusively.
Thank God.
In free agency. So if we address the defense exclusively on the free agency and we're relying on Glenn to make the defense and him to coach the defense up, I think we did enough there on defense to give him the tools he needs to
go some offense in the draft. I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, we got Frank Reich and we got a quarterback coach. Nobody talks about quarterback. We need a quarterback, PG. We need a quarterback.
Definitely.
I do not want to wait a full season without a quarterback. And I don't want to wait until 2027 when, we'll be in the same boat as we are this year. Maybe we'll be a little better because there'll be a couple of more quarterbacks that are worthy of a first-round selection. But like we all say, nobody knows what quarterback is going to be the gem. There'll always be a guy. Like I watched this guy Green on Gruden's quarterback thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, this guy Green is a freak. I mean, he looks like he's a better running quarterback than even the Ravens guy. Even why is his name?
Lamar Jackson.
He looks. Let's put it this way: if you wanted a quarterback to run with the ball and you needed a touchdown, I think you'd probably take this guy Green over Lamar Jackson. That's how explosive the guy is. I mean, he ran what did he run? He ran like a 4.3 40. He weighs 220 pounds. He's 6'6". He's got an arm and everything else. You don't know if that guy might be the star coming out of the draft. You really don't know. You don't really know what it's going to be. But one thing is for sure. We better take a quarterback in this draft. I would love Lou B is going to be. I'm going to be probably his first FaceTime call when we take Love. That's how he knows I'm excited about Love.
Yeah.
And I'm excited mainly because, and look, I didn't want to trade Brees at the deadline because then we might as well have turned our TVs off and not even watch the rest of the season because he was our only offense that we could speak of, right?
Yeah.
And from the perspective of, the argument people make about Gentry, I don't think is an equal. When people say we're not running for a running back, I disagree because, we used a lot of draft capital on the offensive line the last couple seasons. And we have a far better offensive line than the Raiders. If we don't, then, Geno Smith is going to look like he did last year. And, we'll be booing him off the field after the third game of the year. Because let's be real, he's the reason, one of the main reasons why the Raiders are picking Mendoza, because he wasn't really a good quarterback last year. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not better than what he showed last year, but the reason he wasn't good last year is because he didn't have the offensive line and really any weapons. So from that perspective, I'm excited for you guys. I hope you have a great draft.
Thanks,
experience. And, I'm not, like I said, I'm not confident in, the Jets doing something major. I'm not going to be like super excited when they run Bailey or Reese up to the table at 2, because I just don't think those players are impactful enough to change games for us early in in 2027. I see a 5 or 6 or 7 sack year from a Reese. Maybe he'll make some nice explosive plays. But again, if our defense is top 5, our top, let's say even is top 10, still not going to compute into us winning more than 6 or 7 games, because we
unless
have
the offense picks it up, right? Yeah.
I mean, come on, we're not going to have it. It's just going to be the same frustration we had with our Salah years, where we had a great defense, but we didn't have anything on the offense that was going to push us over the top. And I'm tired of seeing 3, 6, 10, 12, field goal. And I'm equally frustrated that we got rid of Falk as a kicker, because, that was for a couple of $1 million. This was a guy that we haven't had in years, that we could at least, when a 41-yard kick was made, I mean, inside the 40, I think he holds the record for consecutive kicks inside the 40.
He does.
I mean, so you go to sleep there. If you got a game on the line, right? It's automatic. His extra points were automatic. The guy had a 98% make in 2025. And the other 2 free agents that were kickers, I saw their makes were in the low 80s.
Yep.
I mean, that's just stupid. And we're going to rely on kicker a lot this year. We don't have the offense. And I thought that was the biggest mistake we made in the off season, is not having Falk back. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm excited about the the prospects. I'll probably go to, where's Green Bean and those guys going to be?
I think they are hosting some draft party. I would assume it's in the New York City area, but I don't know off the top of my head what.
Because I was with them at the main event a few years ago. They had a draft party there with the tall guy. Oh God,
Matt O'Leary.
Matt O'Leary was there, and we had a great time. Main event, we announced our draft. I lit a cigar right in the bar, and we were going live, and it was really a crazy time. So I plan on being at the main event. I think Rich is coming. Purple Belt Mike, Rob, a couple of guys are going to be meeting up there. So I'm hoping that we make something crazy. We do something different, and we'll all FaceTime each other and celebrate.
Let's go.
The start of something big. So I'm excited for you guys. I know everybody is real excited about the draft. I give a lot of credit to the Jet fans that are really invested and did a lot of homework in this draft. And I hope that guys get the guys they want, that are going to make them excited and want us to put our uniforms back on,
Let's go.
Good times ahead. Take care, guys.
There he is. Neil, let's go. Absolutely love it. I want to get to a super chat here. I love when you guys let me get to talk a little WrestleMania. Frank Jets, thank you for the $5 super chat, buddy. Let's friggin' go.
Wow.
Green, we're both Jet fans and WWE fans. Heartbroken on Brock Lesnar's retirement at Mania. Your thoughts on it? Well, I'll throw this picture up, which says 1,000 words. Frank, I did watch WrestleMania this weekend. I'm a massive WWE wrestling fan. This totally caught me off guard. For those who missed it yesterday, to kick off night 2 of WrestleMania, Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar competed against each other. Most people should know Brock Lesnar beyond wrestling because he was on the Minnesota Vikings and UFC. So a lot of people know Brock Lesnar. I am heartbroken. I didn't anticipate this at all. I listened to Chris Van Vliet's interview with John Cena that he did back in December with John Orr a little before that, November. And John Cena randomly mentioned, so SummerSlam, which they promoted at the end of WrestleMania, is going to be in Minnesota. That's where Brock Lesnar cut his teeth and everything else. So I heard the rumor that John Cena sort of laid it out there bluntly that Brock Lesnar could have like a retirement, like that may be his final match at SummerSlam. So it was sort of in my head because of that, but I went, interesting. So no, this totally caught me off guard. Here at the house, we were doing like WrestleMania picks throughout the night 1 and night 2. And I picked Brock Lesnar to win. I thought Oba would just look really good. Like he'd toss Brock around a little, but that Brock would still win. So, I was mildly surprised. It makes sense on the result of the match, but Brock Lesnar is one of the most dominant forces of all time. For a brief period of time, he was the youngest world heavyweight champion in wrestling history at 25. That was later surpassed by Randy Orton at the 2004 SummerSlam against Chris Benoit. So yeah, I love Brock Lesnar. A lot of people say whatever they want to say outside of the ring and octagon and all this other stuff. But I've heard Brock he doesn't do a lot of media, but he recently did some media where he's talking about his kids and he doesn't care about the championships or all the accolades or this, that his legacy is his children. And man, as a father myself of 2 children, that just really spoke to me. So yeah, I'm heartbroken. Seeing him tear up, seeing him hug Paul Heyman, seeing him really take his time, as you can see here in the middle of the ring. For those that are watching, there's a picture of Brock Lesnar sort of praying on both of his knees and bowing down to his wrestling boots he took off and his MMA fighting gloves that he left in the middle of the ring. And then this was out in Vegas to kick off night 2 of WrestleMania. And then he did a very methodical long walk down the ramp and embracing fans, high-fiving fans, and things of that nature. So very emotional. It did pluck my heartstrings. Brock Lesnar is this dominant, when you hear his music. I was going to attempt to replay that song, like with me trying to make the noises, but that would have been terrible. So I can't do it. But you all know, like when that hits, the Beast, Brock Lesnar, the Conqueror, all this stuff, like he was a badass. So 100%, all the love to Brock Lesnar. I am heartbroken about it. I haven't spoken about it till now. So Frank Jets, anytime you want me to talk some wrestling here on the show with a super chat, you can always send that through and we'll talk about it. Now, I see people saying, BG, it's fake. GD Surf City. And I hate when people bring up that wrestling's fake. And I've seen a lot of people complaining on ESPN covering it because there's this massive deal between ESPN and WWE. They're covering it. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. Folks, do you want to know something? Mission Impossible's fake. Tom Cruise doesn't really go in a jet and do 30,000 spins. Do you guys know that's fake? Do you guys know Jurassic Park is fake? The dinosaurs, they're not roaming around the earth right now. Did you guys know that? Of course we all know that. So when people say it's fake, that's like the stupidest thing in the world. All your stupid movies out there are fake. All TV shows are fake. So why do people feel this incessant need to call wrestling fake and like try to denigrate it? Like, oh, it's fake. Like, who cares? All your stupid movies are fake. Like, you want to know what's real? The injuries, the drama. It's like a soap opera is what WWE is. There's physicality, there's wrestling moves, there's crazy stunts, people jumping off ladders and doing crazy physical things. There's storylines and love interests and all this other stuff, and it's sort of this poetic story. Some stories that are invested in for months, and you watch week to week this episodic television series on Raw and SmackDown of people rising and falling and all that. I don't know. I'm all in. I love wrestling. I've always loved wrestling since I was a kid. So anyone that just has all this, hey, it's fake and all this other crap, like that's just, I just don't get it. Lesnar's dominance is not fake. He is a physical beast. He's a former national championship wrestler. When he's tossing people around, that's a display of his strength. That's real dominance. You're making it sound like I could go out there and start tossing around the Big Show because it's fake. Like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand. So the people that just call out wrestling that it's fake, what all your shows are fake. So just let us enjoy. Why that is weird though. It is very bizarre that like wrestling being a thing that I can cheer for, and I'll take this off the screen. So thank you, but I'll leave your comment up, Frank Jets. That like people that aren't wrestling fans have this incessant little voice in their head, like it's schizophrenia that tells them, hey, you got to make sure you tell anyone that you know that likes wrestling that it's fake. Why do you have a need to do that? When you're at the movies, do I come over to you while you're eating your popcorn and say, hey, buddy, this is fake. This didn't really happen. Why can't we all just enjoy our own worlds? Why can't I just enjoy wrestling and then you enjoy whatever stupid show you watch? That's what I just don't understand. I don't get why we all can't just live happily as family, enjoy whatever we want to enjoy. Me and Frank Jets, we're wrestling fans. I know there's other wrestling fans behind. So I was texting with Johnny Boy during WrestleMania last night. So to me, I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with wrestling, and it's the best. So that's great. So absolutely love wrestling out there in the audience. So Frank Jets, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So Brock Lesnar is a beast. He's amazing. And I very much enjoyed it. I'm a big Randy Orton fan, so I was very disappointing on night one. I thought he would win. But there you go. So anywho, folks, what a show. I mean, we covered a lot of ground here. Wrestling, WrestleMania, and everything. And it was terrific. Folks, if you could do me a favor on the way out, please like the video and hit subscribe. We have 400 people watching, but 100 of those 400 are watching right now on YouTube. If you could like the video on YouTube, that helps get this Jet show in front of other Jet fans out there in our audience, which organically is amazing. I'm going to be back at 11 o'clock, so in less than 2 hours, I'm going to do a live where I call the shots, 3-round Jets mock draft, where I'll trade all over the place and do all kinds of fun stuff. Very much looking forward to that. And then at 1:30 live here on the show, Chris Strebler is scheduled to join us. Recently retired quarterback. I have all kinds of questions about his career and teammates and everything else. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, folks, I hope you guys can join us again. So we'll have a couple of live shows today. 11 o'clock, 3-round Jets mock draft. And my buddy, who is a Giants fan, will be doing his 3-round Giants mock draft at the same time. So we'll be in the same mock draft room competing against each other. So we'll be doing that at 11 o'clock. We'll have Chris Strebler live at 1:30. I hope you guys join in. You guys can send in your super chat questions during the live show, and it should be an absolute hoot. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's going to be an amazing draft week. Make sure you stay tuned here to the channel because we're going to have live coverage for the 2026 NFL Draft, and it will be elite. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and let's get a couple of messages here to finish off. Thank you, Tank for Ty, for gifting a membership. Shout out to James Eubanks for being a member for 5 months. Thank you. Mahar Khalil with the super chat. Mahar Khalil with a 16-month shout out. Appreciate you. Austrian Jet fan gifting 10 memberships, and Frank Jets with the $5 super chat. And also back to my father for the Brody update. For those that have been paying attention and tuning in, unfortunately, my brother is in the hospital in ICU. It's been very serious. And I've appreciated all your prayers out there in the audience. My father gave this update saying it was a stable day with limited improvement yesterday. He remains in ICU. He's fighting through a difficult time. We're not through the woods anywhere close at this point. It's still a very scary and troubling situation. So your continued prayers and thoughts are very meaningful to me and my family. So please continue to keep Brody in your thoughts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you in a couple hours for a 3-round live Jets mock draft. We'll see you then. Take care.